Fox Sports.
We are Buffalo. We are Minnesota.
It is hot, it is humid, it is time for the Minnesota Twins to win a ball game. The opening game of a 4-game series with the Baltimore Orioles. Yeah, the Twins have lost 5 straight going back to before the All-Star break, and they've slipped even further back in the American League Central standings. As for the Orioles, they are, like everybody else in the American League East, above 500, and they're tied for the wild card lead. It's been a breakthrough year for the Orioles. And in the highlight position of this 4-game series, 2 all-star catchers, Joe Mauer for the Minnesota Twins and Matt Wieters for the Baltimore Orioles. And we welcome you to hot and muggy Target Field. Dick Raymer and Roy Smalley, who's going to be filling in for Bert Blyleven during this series. Whenever you see a team break through and surprise some people in the standings, invariably there's a guy in the middle of the lineup who's having a breakthrough season, and that guy for the Orioles is Adam Jones.
Certainly is. He's been a young man in center field that they've always had tremendous expectation. He can go get the ball in center. He's got a great arm, but this year he has broken out with the bat. He's hitting home runs. His on-base percentage is high. He's in the middle of the lineup and winning ball games for the Orioles now, not just with his glove, but with a very powerful bat.
There's been so little to talk about positively about the Twins starting rotation that doesn't include Scott Diamond. So Scott Diamond, the starter for the Twins here tonight, hoping to be that stopper that will stop the losing streak.
And what's been amazing about this young man is how consistent he has been with his game plan. Throw 3 or 4 of your pitches over the plate consistently. Punish the hitters with strikes with all 4 of them, and you'll get big league hitters out. He came up here and started doing that from the first game he pitched, and he's done it all the way through.
And tonight, starting tonight, Jim Thome will begin his 3rd farewell tour of Target Field. He's with a new team. He'll be playing in this 4-game series here at Target Field. feared from afar. Tomey built a sizable portion of his Hall of Fame resume, crushing long balls against Minnesota. But he was a member of the Twins when he made history, reaching the 600 home run milestone. In the sunset of his career, Tomey has become a hot commodity for playoff contenders Cleveland, Philadelphia, and now Baltimore. And every new stop has taken him back to Target Field, where he is still admired and feared. Tomey is in town tonight as the Twins take on the Orioles.
There he is in Baltimore Orioles orange. Jim Tomey back in town at Target Field for this 4-game series between the Twins and the Orioles. Hi again, everyone. I'm Marnie Gellner. 2.5 weeks ago is when Tomey was traded from the Philadelphia Phillies to Baltimore, and he has yet to hit a home run with the Orioles, but he has hit 2 here at Target Field already this season. In the middle of June, Tomey with the Phillies hit back-to-back home runs on back-to-back nights. Number 606 and this one, number 607 off Anthony Swarzak, which stuck in the flower beds and was recovered the next day by the Twins grounds crew. We now know that ball is still here at Target Field.
Too many times, but we do have ball 607, and he hasn't got it yet, and I've got it, and we found it through the flower bed, so he's got to do something to get this ball. I know that. He hit it against us. He hurt our feelings. So if he wants the ball back, Jimmy, make my day.
We know eventually that ball will end up in the hands of Jim Tomey. Scott Diamond may not have to deal with him tonight. Tomey's not among the starters. We'll see the Orioles next.
Fox Sports North is brought to you by your local Northland Ford dealers. Visit your local Northland Ford dealer or go to northlandford.com. By Menards. Save big money on all your home improvement needs at Menards. And by Budweiser, official beer of the thirst inning. Great times are on deck. Grab some Buds. Scott Diamond and the Twins taking the mound here at Target Field, hoping to end a 5-game losing streak, hoping to do so against a team that, despite a winning record in the American League East, the Orioles have kind of fallen on hard times themselves.
They have not playing well recently. Looking to get back on track with that manager Buck Showalter having a lot to do with turning this team around.
Here's the Menards batting order for the Orioles. Nick Markakis recently rejoining the club. Then J.J. Hardy, Adam Jones, Matt Wieters, Mark Reynolds, Steve Pierce, Chris Davis, Wilson Betamete, and Steve Tollison.
Opposing them on the mound, Dick, is big lefty Scott Diamond. You can see the one, as we've been talking about, the one bright spot on the starting staff so far for the Twins this year. 7-3 record, very good ERA. Really only had 2 bad games, kind of in the middle of his season so far, and has bounced back very nicely.
Northland Ford defense for the Twins. Josh Willingham in left, Denard Span in center, Ben Revere in right, Trevor Plouffe, Brian Dozier, Jamie Carroll, Justin Morneau, Joe Mauer behind the plate. Very warm today. When I got out of the car about 3:30 this afternoon, my car thermometer said 100 degrees. I know they're not the most reliable, but I'd never seen 3 digits on my car thermometer before.
It's close enough. They're not exactly reliable, but it's close enough. It is feeling that kind of hot.
Now, did you like playing in this stuff? You came out of the Texas Rangers and came up here.
And from Southern California. I like heat. 100 degrees and sunshine's a little difficult.
Right.
But, night games like this, I just thought they were just terrific.
Well, the Orioles are used to the heat and humidity, too. They open up this 4-game series, having swept the Twins at the very beginning of the season. Nick Markakis leading things off, and he takes strike 1. The Orioles hope to get kick-started again with the return of the likes of Brian Roberts. Nick Markakis just came back after having hamate surgery, and he lines a single to center. So Markakis, who had the hook of the hamate removed, and it takes a while for hitters typically to come back from that, gets a base hit. There's Sanford Health injury report. They just got Brian Roberts back from his concussion issues. Now he's on the disabled list with a torn muscle in the hip.
What a shame, because Brian Roberts has really been a terrific player when he's been healthy. The problem is he just can't seem to stay healthy. And I know what Markakis went through. I broke the hook of my hamate bone, my right hand as well, and that's a tough recovery.
Here's J.J. Hardy, 1 year with the Twins, and Mauer digs it out of the dirt, ball 1. Hardy's first year in Baltimore was in its own way a breakout year for Hardy. He, for the most part, stayed healthy, hit a lot of home runs, but he has really struggled in his second year with Baltimore, particularly as of late. 4 hits in his last 55 at bats, and within all that, an 0 for 28 skid. And up and in, 2-0.
Yeah, JJ really struggling right now, and he had last year was kind of a re-breakout or a second breakout. He had one big year with the Brewers, as we'll recall, hit a bunch of home runs, and then didn't do much until last year with the Orioles. Now struggling again.
Diamond falls behind, 2-0. And missing inside again, 3-0. Now for Diamond. He's working on the 11th day. He's had 10 days of rest. That was all by design. Twins a little concerned about Diamond and the workload this year. And so they set things up so he would have some time off going into the break, and then backed him up toward the end of the rotation coming out of the break. And strike 1.
And that's really a two-edged sword for a young fellow like Scott Diamond. I can understand why the Twins would want to protect his arm, his elbow, his shoulder. He's not thrown this many innings any time, or what will be projected how many innings he'll throw this year. But on the other hand, for a starting pitcher, especially a young one, it's the repetition and the normalcy that's the most important. And he was in such a groove. I'm sure, much like a hitter who, when a hitter's high, doesn't want any off days, doesn't want any rainouts. Let's just keep playing because there's no telling how many hits I'm going to get. When Scott Diamond is successful, he throws all 4 pitches over the plate and in good spots to the strike zone. And with a long time off, it's going to take him. It wouldn't be surprising to take him an inning or 2 to get that back.
3-1, becoming very aware of Markakis at first. Three and 1.
Good running count here for manager Buck Showalter. Guy runs pretty well. 3-1 count with a guy that throws the ball over.
Just the 13th walk for Diamond. One of those was intentional, and Adam Jones comes up with 2 men aboard and nobody out. Jones signing a big deal in late May with the Orioles because they think he's a budding superstar. And
well, as you look at the hot zones of where he hits what kind of pitches he hits well and not so well, he is not a budding superstar. He is a superstar if you throw it in the middle of the plate. It looks like you can see across the middle there, just really gaudy numbers. And those hot zone areas, as he misses with a slider there, Scott Diamond does to Adam Jones. Those hot zones indicate where guys hit the ball best and where they hit the ball the worst. And you can see with Adam Jones, anywhere down, in, low and away, all good spots for him. And it also sets up where you're going to play guys defensively.
Revere running and diving and making a spectacular catch. Ben Revere with one of the best catches of the year.
Well, this young man is just becoming a highlight reel in and of himself. You see a ball up in the zone that Adam Jones likes. Ben Revere lays out, keeps his concentration. Watch his eyes all the way into the glove. Perfect. Just perfect. And that's not that easy to do when you're running that hard and you know you have to lay out to keep your concentration that focused. He watched that ball all the way into his glove.
A big out. The first of the inning, leaving Hardy at first and Markakis at second. Now Matt Wieters. And Diamond misses down low. So obviously a rough inning for Diamond in terms of his control. 10 pitches, only 4 strikes.
Very uncharacteristic. We talked in the opening of the show about how consistent he's been pounding the strike zone, and I just think it's the time off right now. That's a good pitch there. I don't think that ball was down.
2-0. Whatever chance Brian Dunsing had yesterday of pitching deep into the ball game was probably frittered away when he threw 41 pitches in the first inning on a hot, muggy day. Bouncer left side. Plouffe will go to second. They get the out there. Morneau gets it at first. A nicely turned around the horn double play gets Diamond and the Twins out of the first inning. Gardenhire hoping that'll spark his team and his Menards batting order here tonight. Denard Span leading off. Revere's hit second. Joe Mauer, Josh Willingham, Justin Morneau, Trevor Plouffe, Brian Domet, Brian Dozier, and Jamie Carroll.
And they will impose this young man right here, young Chris Tillman. He's back up now after having pitched a start in the minor leagues and down in Double-A to keep his streak going, his pitch streak. And we talked about that, Dick. You can see here in his last outing, really, really good 8 1/3 innings.
Here's the Northland Ford defense for the Orioles. Steve Pierce playing in left field. Adam Jones in center. Markakis in right. Benamite, Hardy, Collison, Reynolds around the infield, and Matt Wieters behind the plate.
And what I started to say about Chris Tillman is unlike Scott Diamond, who they pushed back and he didn't pitch, this young man was going to work on a long in-between rest stint as well, so they had to go down to Double-A and pitch a game down there. So he's kind of on his every fifth-day track.
Span in the box taking ball 1. And a chopper, foul, 1-1. Now, as impressive as Tillman's numbers were in his 2012 debut, it was against the Seattle Mariners. And they are a team that has really struggled to get hits, score runs. Twins at times have done that too, but the Twins have a much more productive lineup than the Mariners have. 2-1. Spent most of the year at AAA Norfolk for the Orioles. And the Orioles, like everybody else, contender or not, they've had injuries. They need all kinds of pitching help. On the outside corner, 2-2. To center, playable for Jones. 1 down. Mentioned that the Orioles swept the Twins at the very beginning of the season at Camden Yards. They not only swept the Twins never had a lead in any of the 3 games. They did not score before the 8th inning in any of the 3 games. So they're hoping to fare much better in the run production department in this series.
Well, the Twins broke from spring training in that series really as a whole unit, not swinging the bat well at all. And a lot had to do with how good the young Oriole pitching staff has become. They surprised everybody right out of the box. Everybody said, well, the Orioles won't be much of a test right out of the gate, but they certainly were. The pitcher, that was real stuff those guys were throwing up there to the Twins that series.
1-1. Yeah, when you looked at the schedule in April for the Twins, you thought, oh boy, Yankees, Rays, Red Sox, a lot of really tough teams from the East, but at least they got the Orioles. Well, the Orioles led the division early on. Slow breaking ball, missing the inside corner, 2-1. And it really is remarkable. You look at the American League East, all 5 teams are above 500. You got the Yankees on top by 8. Little drive to left center field. That's down for a hit, and that's going to allow Revere to run for a while. He'll hold up with a second. Jones actually did a good job cutting that ball off in the gap. And Revere doubles with 1 out here in the first.
Good swing by Ben right there. Just patented that stroke, hasn't he? Ball away. He just goes right with it. You see he doesn't try to pull it. Hits the ball where it's pitched. And he runs so well. Now, right now, he's looking for Adam Jones to bobble it. Just bobble it a little bit, but he didn't. He came up with it cleanly. But it didn't even have, that ball didn't even have to get to the wall. If Adam Jones doesn't catch that ball cleanly on his backhand, Ben would turn it on and go all the way into third base right there.
Here's Mauer. Down and in. Mauer's, now bear with me on this because, hitters are a little sensitive about this. Mauer's hit a plateau, his batting average, in the 330 range.
What's wrong with this guy? But we just can't seem to get above that pesky 329 number.
1-0. For a while his average was down in the 270s, and then he got 2 hits a game and 1 hit for sure, and was on a steady climb. But now you get to a point where if you're going to have 4 at-bats, Your batting average is only going to go up if you get at least 2 hits.
That's right. That's right. And for most of us mortals, that would be a daunting task for Joe. He might get 2 hits a game for 14 straight games. I've seen those streaks.
1-1 to Mauer, trying to get the speedy Revere in with the game's first run. Inside, 2-1.
Looking at Joe Mauer's hot zones, where he likes the ball and where he doesn't, you can see away, middle of the plate, and down and away, not so great. Just about everywhere else is really, really something. So if you're going to throw him in the middle of the plate to in, he's going to beat you. Chances are the Orioles are going to pitch him away and play him slightly away, although right now they're pretty even up, pretty straight away in both the infield and the outfield.
3-1. I'm amazed at those numbers. A pitch thigh high away, and Joe's hitting less than 200 against that. I find that hard to believe.
You know, I really do too. And what I think is interesting about that is you don't know how many pitches he's actually swung at to achieve those numbers. Joe's so good at getting a ball that he wants to hit, and if you miss out there and bring it over the plate just a little bit, he hits 4 million. So that's. Right like that.
Right over Tillman's cap. Revere around third, and Mauer drives him in, and the Twins in Minnesota score first against the Orioles. A rocket that nearly decapitated Tillman.
And this is what I'm talking about. You see where he's trying to pitch, mainly down and away, but then he comes pretty much over the center plate, and you see that hot box area. He was kind of up and out over the plate. We saw in the hot box that he hits 400 or 500 something out there, up and out over the plate. You're just not going to get him out up there.
So a quick Minnesota lead, and here's Josh Willingham. Over the inside corner.
So if we look again at the hot zone, the ball was in the 440 to 522 range, right on that line. If it's down, see right here, if that ball's down 6 or 8 inches, he's only hitting 143 on the pitch. That's how small a margin for error there is in the big leagues, pitcher versus hitter.
Another breaking ball, missing, 1-1. Willingham with 22 home runs, 8th in the American League, 6 behind the leader, Adam Dunn. 65 runs batted in, tied for 3rd in the American League, 11 behind the leader, Josh Hamilton.
And here's a guy that's looking for the ball inside, middle to inside corner to down, and he's just looking for it in there and letting her go.
Finally got a fastball, a mid-90s fastball, and he fouled it away.
I've been very, very impressed. I mean, it's notable, I think, significant to watch Josh Willingham and how he stays with his plan. He wants the ball in the middle of the plate to in on him, and he just is going to get it in there and pull it when he gets it. He got beat on 97. Now, 97 miles an hour in under your hands, even if you want it in there, that's going to beat most guys. Children humping up a little bit to strike out Willingham.
So 2 down.
You see the location of this pitch. That's just some overhand country hardball right there. 97 miles an hour, just threw it by the slugger.
See, Wieters wanted it down away, and it kind of leaked out over the middle of the plate, but still had enough to get a swing and a miss. Here's Morneau. 13-game hitting streak for the Twins' first baseman. And he takes outside, ball 1.
You don't have to be able to throw it 97 to get big league hitters out if you can throw it around the perimeters of the zone. But if you throw 97 and happen to leave it in the middle of the plate, you can get away with those. If you throw 91 and leave it, you're trying to throw it down and away and leave it in the middle of the plate, it gets hammered pretty hard up here. But 97 doesn't ensure success, but it sure does correct some mistakes.
1-1 to Morneau. Fouled away. 13 games for Morneau, 13 games for the guy in the on-deck circle, Trevor Plouffe. And you can see in each case the batting average is climbing up. Plouffe's a little bit above 250. Morneau still a few points below the 250 mark. Oh. And a foul over the Baltimore on-deck circle. Fastball off the plate. Morneau getting nothing but fastballs from Tillman.
And most of them away from the big left-hand hitter.
That's fair into the left field corner. Bauer around second on his way to third. Pierce retrieves it to the infield, and another opposite field hit for Justin Morneau.
Justin working on that an awful lot in batting practice today. I was standing behind the cage watching him do his work in the cage. He was hitting a lot of balls to left field. That's a great swing, getting on top of that high outside pitch and going with it. You see his top hand stays on top of the ball there. He's able to keep that ball fair inside the left field line. It also helped that Tillman gave him a steady diet of fastballs out there. He finally got used to the fact that that's where he was going to pitch him, and he went with it and lined it to left. Good hit right there.
Here's Trevor Plouffe. Slow breaking ball left up. More and more we've seen Justin getting base hits to left field. The majority of them going to center. That's what you, I guess, would want, wouldn't you? You've got a guy using the whole field. 2-0.
I think it's important for Justin to get back to what is normalcy for him by using the whole field. There will come a time when he's back from basically a 2-year absence from the big leagues, where he'll be up on the plate and willing and wanting and able to pull the ball consistently, more consistently. But right now, that's just good hit. Get back all over the field, get yourself some hits, get your stroke back.
96. A swing and a miss on the 2-0 pitch.
Fastball count. Trevor looking for it. Just threw it by him.
Now 3-1 with Doman on deck.
Here's a case where I think Trevor needs to look for the fastball belt high, no higher than belt high. Make it be lower than belt high or lower. He's not great on 96, 97 up in the high end limit of the strike zone. Very, very few hitters are. So don't make an out up there. Get you one down low and hit it where you're good.
Foul back. Right beneath us. There isn't much that is beneath us.
You can see right here, that pitch right there, that's not in Trevor's wheelhouse. And 3-1, I think you're looking for your wheelhouse pitch. You've got a better chance of making an out right there than getting a hit if you're Trevor. So take that. Maybe it's ball 4. Even if it is a strike, you live to get this pitch right here. So 3-1, you have to be real, real selective.
Full count to Plouffe. Got the curve, took it high, and Tillman's missed high with that breaking pitch. And they're loaded up now for Doman. So the Twins with one on the board looking for more, and the pitching coach Rick Adair comes out. In the inning, a pair of doubles, a single, a walk. The Twins were victimized in the Oakland series by a lot of crooked numbers. They've got a chance to put one up of their own here in the first inning. Domet, the designated hitter. And a lot of Twins out there ready to be driven in. Fastball up high. So now 31 pitches in Tillman's first inning and 16 strikes. In front of the off-speed pitch, 1-1. One and one to the Twins' designated hitter. Another off-speed pitch.
2 changeups in a row, real good pitches to a guy like Brian Doman who wants to pull the ball. Guy that wants to pull wants to get the big end of the bat out in front of it, looking for fastball speed and get that big end, hitting the ball way out in front of the plate. And the changeup comes out of the pitcher's hand looking like fastball, but it's about 10 or 14 miles an hour slower, and you just get out way out in front.
And the fastball up and away, evening the count.
Right now, as a hitter, you have to be thinking, okay, he's shown me 2 fastballs. I want to hit the fastball, but the fastballs I'm seeing are not strikes. It looks like it's the changeup he wants to get me out with. So you have to take a little bit more time here. Be willing to have the fastball beat you a little bit so you're not way out in front of a changeup if he gets you with that.
And he got the fastball and fouled it away. I was going to say that we've seen 95, we've seen 97. You still have to be ready for that.
That's
right?
exactly right. But and you see that he was late on that because he was concerned about the changeup speed. That's exactly the cat and mouse game between the pitcher and the hitter. And with 2 strikes, you have to give up the fastball getting pulled to right field and just fight that off as best you can so that you can handle every pitch, not just the fastball.
Another 2-2. And he fought off an off-speed pitch. And the pitch count mounts. We talked yesterday about Brian Dunsing laboring through 41 pitches in the first inning. Well, now here's Tillman with 36 of them so far.
When the Twins are swinging well as a unit, you'll see that a lot with a guy that's struggling with his command, the strike zone, because the Twins hitters will do a good job of getting a good ball to hit. They'll make him throw it over.
And one in the dirt. Doman takes it to fill the count. So now the merry-go-round will begin here. Bases loaded. Full count. Dozier on deck. And Tillman needs to throw a strike. The question is, what will he throw a strike with?
Yeah, it's going to be a fastball or a changeup. And this is where it's hard. You guys, a hitter, you think, well, 3-2, bases loaded. He's got to throw me a fastball, but you have to wait and see.
Tap to the right side. Off the glove of Reynolds. And 2 runs are going to score. Reynolds jabbed at it. It bounced off his glove, and it's 3-0 Twins. They had the shift on. I'm guessing Steve Tollison would have been able to make that play, but Reynolds deflected it away from everybody.
Doman gets a 3-2 changeup, hits over the top of it, and Reynolds just doesn't make the play. I think he could have made that play without diving, and there's no question Tollison was going to be in front of that.
So a big error charged to Reynolds. 2 runs scoring, no runs batted in for Doman. And Brian Dozier with runners on the corners. And Buck Showalter already on the phone with the Baltimore bullpen. Up high with a fastball. Well, what we've seen already here tonight in this first inning is what has happened to the Orioles over the last 3-4 weeks. They haven't hit with men on base in scoring position. We saw that in evidence in the top of this inning. And the starting pitching has been very wobbly. The fielding has been horrible. the error by Reynolds, the 78th error for the Orioles this year. That leads all of Major League Baseball. So all of that has conspired to drag the Orioles down in a very tough division. 1-1 to Dozier. Busts his bat, gets a base hit. Kloof scores, and it's 4-0. And 9 men will bat here in the first inning.
Good fastball in under the hands of Brian Dozier, but he stays square. He throws his hands inside. That's a nice piece of hit. Watch his hands go inside just to get enough of the bat on the ball to muscle it over the infield. Good job by the young man.
4 hits, a walk, an error. So far, 4 runs. And here's the number 9 batter, Jamie Carroll. Slow breaking ball, left up high. And you've got Tillman, who basically a 3-pitch pitcher, but he hasn't been able to throw his curve for a strike. And so he's left out there with just 2 pitches. If he's thrown 5 of them, I think all 5 have been left up high. And now a fastball down and away. Miguel Sokolovich warming up. A rough start for Chris Tillman. 3-0, and Span, who led off the inning with a fly ball to center in the on-deck circle. At the knees.
Here's, I think, with Jamie Carroll, a hitter that I think you'll see him get exactly the pitch he wants, or he's not going to swing. He's pretty good at taking pitches.
And on the outside corner, full count.
I think he was taking that all the way, but if he had a thought about swinging, it wasn't going to be on that ball in the outside corner. It was going to be exactly the one he wanted to hit. He's a veteran player, and he's got good discipline about hitting the ball he wants when it's 3-1. Now he's got to protect.
Runners take off, and the ball lifted into the seats. My goodness. 47 pitches in the stifling heat and humidity for Chris Tillman. Forget the 4 runs that have scored. How in the world is he going to come back for a second inning with any bullets left?
Well, he's young and strong, and he might have one more inning left in him. Listen, this is tough duty here. Cost the error by his first baseman, or he was out of the inning.
And they're loaded up. And we'll see whether Sokolovich has had enough time to warm up. Span with his second at bat of the inning, and this one with the bases loaded. Second time this inning that the Twins have had the bases loaded. And as sadistic as it sounds, this is where you really want to make the guy pay. He's out there running on fumes, and the game itself in the first inning, the game may be hanging in the balance in this at bat. And he drives it to right field. Markakis won't catch it. Off the base of the fence. Domet scores. Dozier scores. Carroll coming behind him. A bases clearing double for Denard Span. Jumping on the first pitch.
Well, you really said it and called it, Dick. That was exactly right. Just put the dagger in right here. The bases loaded. He had walked a guy. You figure he's going to come in with a fastball, get ready for it, and nail it. No sense taking. You got the bases loaded. You got a young man struggling. Air it out if you get the pitch you want. And Denard Span did exactly that.
Twins knock out Chris Tillman in the first inning and lead 7-0. And some shoddy defense by the Orioles has allowed the Twins to open up a 7-0 lead.
Watch this play by Jamie Carroll. He stays on the bag on a high throw, uses the bag to protect against the runner, and then has the ability to get back on top of the throw and get enough on it to get a double play with the bases loaded, get him out of the inning. Now watch him scoring from first. He's fired up. He knows that could be the ball game right there. Conversely, here's a play that would have gotten young Chris Tillman out of the inning with the bases loaded. Mark Reynolds does not make that play on the relatively easy two-hopper. It prolongs the inning, and the Twins jump all over him for 7 runs here at the bottom of the first inning.
Well, Reynolds, a converted third baseman. He never won a Gold Glove over there. He had some rough edges defensively at third, and so he does not make the play at first. And Miguel Sokolovich comes in very early out of the Baltimore bullpen.
Tough evening for that young man, Chris Tillman. He's sitting there left to wonder what would have happened if my first baseman had made that play. Maybe I would have found my command of the strike zone. Things would have been different in the second inning.
Here's Revere, who started the inning with a double to left center field. After Span had hit a fly ball to center, Revere cracked one to the gap in left center. Then single, strikeout, double, walk, error, single, walk, double. And just like that, it's 7-0. Sharply hit on one hop to Tolleson. And the inning ends. 11 men bat, 7 of them score. And a great start to this series with the Orioles. In his second at bat of the first inning.
The GMC keys to the game for Scott Diamond: command the strike zone early and maintain your efficiency with your pitches. That means they go together, but get ahead with one of your 3 pitches that you like to throw: fastball, curveball, changeup, and then keep pounding that strike zone. Particularly important now after the long layoff. He did not do either one of these things very well in the first inning. Let's see if he can get it back here in the second.
Through 12 pitches in the first inning, only 5 strikes. So he starts the second inning with a strike to Mark Reynolds. Reynolds with a lot of power drives it to the left field corner. Willingham won't get there. It'll make it to the wall, and it'll be a leadoff double for Reynolds. Let's go to Marnie Kellner.
Dick, a decent amount of hits already in this game tonight, but no home runs yet. And it seemed like it wasn't long ago we were talking about moving the fences in at Target Field. No longer the case. There have been exactly 100 home runs hit at this ballpark this year, well ahead of the pace in either of the last 2 seasons. When this ballpark opened in 2010, there were 116 home runs hit, 52 by the Twins. Last year, 126 total. And now this year, we're at the 100 mark, and we are just a little over halfway through this season. 2.2 per game is what the average is here at Target Field. You add Trevor Plouffe and Josh Willingham to the lineup, and the A's came in here last weekend with 9. That'll build the number up pretty quickly, but 100 so far. Now we got to move the fences back.
They're just fine where they are, Marty. They're just fine. Don't get carried away.
Here is Steve Pearce, the latest Oriole to get some time in left field. And Diamond misses again, 2-0. You know, I remember when the Twins moved into the Metrodome, and the Twins had some out of spring training, had an exhibition series with Reds, maybe? Cincinnati Reds?
I mean, I'm sorry, I was thinking of Pete Rose when I said that.
It was the Phillies.
But it was the Phillies, yep.
And I remember interviewing you, oddly enough, on television at the time, and you said we were all going to be interested to see how the ball was going to carry in the new indoor ballpark. And now, you know, we've, I think, established over the last 2.5 years this hasn't been the most home run friendly ballpark, but maybe things are changing. Twins are hitting more home runs than they have here, but they have a different roster than they had the last couple of years. There's a tapper to third. Easy play for Plouffe. Over to Morneau, 1 away. And we've had a lot of fun with different theories as to why that might be. Generally, Ron Coomer, isn't it true that the ball flies a lot farther when you have hot and humid weather?
Well, Dick, as you know, growing up here in the Midwest like me, midsummer the ball was going to fly. We've been having unbelievably hot weather, and as we saw in batting practice today, the ball has flown very well. Roy, you grew up in Southern Cal. I got to play there. You know, when it's hot and it's midsummer, the ball's flying. We saw today in batting practice a whole bunch of guys reaching the second deck all over the field, and balls actually going out of the park in straightaway center field, believe it or not.
Yeah, Coom, that heat rising up off the ground, the ball just rides those heat currents. And it was great. You and I were standing around the batting cage, and Alexi Casilla hit one in the second deck in left field, and Tony Levin said, "What's that matter with a little mosquito hitting the ball in the second deck?"
Swinging a strike, 1-1.
With Rick Anderson throwing batting practice, both you and I both thought we could maybe reach the seats one more time.
I'm telling you, I think we could have, buddy. The way Andy was throwing it in there, that looked awfully good to me.
It is really warm down here on the field, at field level. But if you look at the left field flags, you know, right field where it usually blows in isn't blowing real hard, but the flags are blowing out hard to straightaway left field. I think the guys are going to look to elevate the baseball more as you keep this warm weather.
And also, Coom, I thought it was interesting that batting coach Joe Vavra actually told his guys yesterday, guys, the ball's jumping, hit it in the air. I mean, it's not very often you see a hitting coach telling you guys to swing for the fences, but he was trying to get him to get it up in the jet stream.
2-1 to Chris Davis, and now 3-1. 22 pitches, 10 strikes for Diamond. Trying to pitch around a leadoff double by Mark Reynolds.
And still just not quite as sharp as we've seen him up until now. His command of the zone with all his pitches just not quite real sharp yet.
So a 90-mile-per-hour fastball on a 3-1 count. Davis expecting a fastball, but yet it seemed like Davis was late on a 90-mile-per-hour fastball. We've seen the other guy, Tillman, throw 97.
I think that Scott Diamond is a little bit deceptive with his delivery. There's a couple of things going on with him, I think. Maybe we can talk about a little bit. But Scott wasn't happy with the location of the pitch. That's a good pitch right there.
Waiting for Tom Hallion's call, third strike call. Finally got to see it, 2 down.
The pitch before, after the hitter swung and missed, Diamond kind of dropped his head. Didn't want to throw it there, but this one is right where he wanted to. Remove all doubt.
Tom Hallion behind the plate. Brian Onora has got the first base chore. He'll have the plate tomorrow. Everybody in the crew will get a chance behind the plate. Strike one to Wilson Betemit. Slice to right, a base hit. Reynolds will be waved around third. And Betemit puts the Orioles on the board at 7-1. There's a big 2-out hit by Betemit. Team struggling to score runs like the Orioles. They get a leadoff double 2 outs later. The runner's still at second. They needed a 2-out hit here.
Pretty good hit right there by Wilson Betemit. That's not a bad pitch at all from Scott Diamond. Betemit just able to fight it off and a low curveball and line it the other way. Pretty good hit. Sometimes you just have to tip your hat to it.
Here's Steve Tollison, was property of the Twins organization for a lot of years. And he takes a strike at the knees. Tollison actually broke through at the big league level with Oakland 2 years ago. Last was with the Twins organization in 2009. Inside. Now Diamond is 7-3 and he's pitched very well. He's also been given a lot of run support. Is there a connection though between a pitcher who will throw 12-15 pitches an inning, give his team a chance to win, give them a competitive start, and the lineup producing for him?
You would think there would be. I know the players sure like to play behind a guy like that.
Just off the plate, 2-1.
There's a great example right now, right there on that pitch. And I know that Rick Anderson, the pitching coach right there, wanted this pitch for his pitcher. That ball is awfully close and really could have been rung up by umpire Hallion. But when Scott Diamond's pitching well, that pitch is a strike. He has the ability to throw it on the corner when he has to.
Oh my! Slow bouncer. Dozier has to hurry, makes the play, and the business end of the bat sailing over the Baltimore on deck circle. We'll hope everyone is all right. To submit an email on why your sign should be circled on an upcoming home game and have a chance to visit us in the broadcast booth. We'll reveal 2 of the sections the morning before each game. One will be listed on foxsportsnorth.com and the other on KFAN.com. Bert Blanivin still in Florida, on his way eventually this week to Cooperstown for the Hall of Fame induction. Barry Larkin will be inducted, Ron Santo posthumously. And then at some point, he'll be rejoining us in Twins television later this month. Joe Mauer will lead off the third inning. Mauer drove in the first run of the game against Chris Tillman, sending a liner right over Tillman into center field, scoring Revere. Miguel Sokolovich relieving Chris Tillman in the first inning. Been a while since the Twins have had a bat around inning. Twins have lost 7 straight to the Orioles, and in those 7 games they've only scored 9 runs, and 7 in the first inning tonight. 1-1.
You can see the Orioles continuing to pitch Joe away, trying to pitch him away, down away, and middle away. What makes Joe so good is that he'll take those pitches that he doesn't hit well against until he gets. See, he'll take that pitch, even if it was going to be a call to strike. He was going to take that pitch, and then he'll swing at it. You can see middle away and low and away is not where Joe's effective. So he'll take those pitches. I'm going to bet that those averages 143 and 227 are with 2 strikes. Joe lays off those pitches until he absolutely has to hit them. So he can do that.
Deep to right field. Mauer sends one out, a home run. Mauer's 6th of the year, and it's 8-1.
And we saw a professional hitter right there. The guy, they're pitching him away. They're right on the corner or just off. He takes those because he knows he's not effective out there. He gets a ball in the middle of the plate and hammers it. Here's the difference between a great hitter. You get a ball in there, you don't miss it. You take the pitches that you're not good at and you hit the ones that you are.
And more damage to the flowers. There's Josh Willingham. Up and in, ball 1. Last time Jim Thome played here, he did some floral damage with a home run ball, and Mauer hits one into the flowers, and a fan rips up a pot. 2-0 to Willingham.
He just wanted to give his wife a baseball and a bouquet all at once.
And Willingham on 2-0. Swings at one off the plate, 2-1. Willingham went down swinging for out number 2 in the first inning. Lifted foul over the Twins dugout, 2-2. Twins were embarrassed by the Oakland A's this past weekend. And they were embarrassed at the start of the season in Baltimore. They had 3 games. They really weren't in any of the 3. Orioles scored early. Pretty much dominated the Twins in every facet of the game through 3 games. Inside to Willingham, and it's a full count. Morneau on deck. Bounced over third, off the glove of Benamit. Willingham will reach on a likely base hit. So Willingham aboard. We'll give you the official ruling in a moment. And Ron Coomer, your thoughts?
Well, that guy right there, Joe Mauer, we watched him today take batting practice and listen to Joe Vavra talk about guys elevating the baseball. Well, in batting practice today, the one thing that was rare is you see Joe hit a lot of fly balls in BP. Look at his contact point, Roy and Dick, way out in front, where Joe does not usually hit the ball that far out in front of home plate. All day today in practice, batting practice, he was hitting the ball out in front and getting the ball elevated. And for, you know, his second at bat of the ball game, he ends up lifting one into the right field seats. Good practice makes good for the game.
Willingham is given a base hit. Nobody out here in the second. And Morneau, who cracked an opposite field double in the middle of that 7-run first inning. Now with a 1-strike count. towering fly ball, right center field. Tollison out. Adam Jones in front of Nick Markakis. One down. And we'll bring up Trevor Plouffe. Plouffe walked and scored in the first inning.
I want to accentuate what Ron Coomer was saying, because it's such a good point. Tony Oliva always made the point to us when Tony's the hitting coach for the Twins when I play, that you can't hit home runs unless you practice hitting them. You know, you have to be able to go up there in batting practice. It's great to hit the ball all over the ballpark for your batting average and to keep your stroke going and all those kinds of things. But there are going to be times in a game where you get a 2-0 or a 3-1 count, or a home run pitch shows up, and your body has to be used to knowing how to react to that. And Tony says you can't hit it far unless you swing hard. And I think Coom makes a great point. I think it's right on. You have to practice every kind of swing you want to take.
Swing and a miss. 1-1 to Plouffe.
I think with Trevor, there's a good example right there. When Trevor can get more like Joe in laying off those pitches like that one where he's not going to be good, and accepting that can be called a strike on you, and it doesn't matter. You don't have to swing at it, because the chances are you'll get one in the middle of the plate if you don't help the pitcher out.
But as you said, when Mauer was in the box, this guy's an extraordinary hitter, an extraordinary eye.
Well, it's not just his eye, though. Go ahead and finish your thought.
Well, I was going to say, and then he had the benefit of catching the first couple innings, and he saw Tom Hallion wasn't calling the edges or the corners, and so Mauer, I'm sure, bookmarking all that, thinking, okay, well, if the corners aren't called, I can use that to my advantage.
I think that's absolutely true. I think more the case is that at bat in, at bat out, game in, game out, Joe knows where he's effective and knows where he's not, and he's willing to take pitches to get a ball that in a spot in that hot zone that we've been showing where he is very effective.
3-1 to Plouffe. Grounded to short. Hardy starts a double play. But the inning starts with a Joe Mauer home run, and the Twins, for the second time already tonight, have a 7-run lead. Cast your vote for the Arby's Value Player of the Game. Test the word value, followed by a space and the player's name to short code 234-234. Mauer with an RBI single and a home run. Scott Diamond on the board. We'll update you later on tonight as to the final vote tally. Since we've got two all-star hitters for the Twins with us on our broadcast crew. And since we've talked about Scott Diamond, and we've shown you a 90, 91 mile per hour fastball, a good curve and a change, he makes both right-handed and left-handed hitters produce some kind of awful, ugly swings from time to time. So there must be something in his delivery. He must hide the ball well. So I'd like you two guys to look at his delivery and try to dissect it and find out why hitters seem to have a tough time picking up the baseball.
Well, if you look right here at this delivery, straight over the top, watch where his glove comes. His glove comes flying up right in the release point zone, and then you don't see his hand until he kind of rocks and fires over the top to him, and I think that's got a little deception to it.
Well, and there's definitely a point to that, Roy. I'm just watching him right now, and we had talked about this earlier today. The other thing that I have been looking for is something to be a little more deceptive for the hitter and not picking up the baseball as well in the delivery or out of his hand. And the other thing is, I was watching him today. He pitches from the third base side of the dugout, so he doesn't block the hitter out, especially the right-handed hitter, as much. But when you watch this next delivery, he drops his hand down his back leg or his set leg, and then when he delivers the baseball, it's been hidden behind his back almost the entire time until you see it at the release point. And to me, that is one of those things that when a pitcher shoots the ball at you and you don't pick it up right away, the deception of speed, like Johan Santana did with his short arm swing and the changeup, I think that's one of the things that Scott Diamond has been able to do so far since he's been up here this second time.
I agree with you, Kuhn. What happens is his arm is down behind his leg when the glove is up where you're looking for the ball, and then all of a sudden the glove disappears from your view, and then the ball comes shooting out of there. I think you're absolutely right. I think there's another thing that's made him really, really effective too. If you watch how straight over the top he comes, see that's a little cut fastball right there. He'll throw a bigger one, a bigger slider than that. But on both the curveball and the slider, I think it's very deceptive to hitters when a guy throws straight over the top but has downward movement, like there, that downward movement on a breaking ball.
It's just so tough to square the ball up when a pitcher has great tilt. And when we talk about great tilt for the fans, from up to down, when the ball is going downhill big time, it's really tough to get the barrel out to the baseball as we see this swing. And just a great pitch. And I have to agree, when you go up to down, that makes it very difficult.
Guy throwing straight over the top, and you expecting the ball to just kind of come out on the same plane as his hand, and not only does he able to come over the top and throw it low, but then the breaking balls keep biting down even more, and that's very, very unusual and I think deceptive.
Well, I think what we've seen here in the first couple innings, Scott Diamond struggled with his control. It's usually spot on. And now here in the third inning, a couple of lazy fly ball outs. He's facing Jones with a 1-strike count. And a lazy fly ball toward left center field. And that ball drops. And Jones will go to second. That ball should have been caught.
From down here, guys, the ball was hit in the left center gap, and it looked like for some reason it just kept going towards center field, almost like a right-handed hitter inside out of that ball. Is really weird the way the ball kept slicing kind of towards the bullpen.
Yeah, if you watch this, I think Denard gives up on it a little bit and thinks that that's going to be Josh Willingham's ball. And watch him right here. He looks. Once he looked away, he was kind of toast there. And frankly, that's a ball the center fielder just needs to take charge of and catch.
So a 2-out double, meaning Diamond will have to face Wieters with a man in scoring position. And with that good control now of the fastball that he struggled with in the first couple innings, he gets ahead of Wieters. Strike one.
And again, a good example of what we were talking about. It seems like when he really, what we've noticed this year about Scott Diamond is when he really needs to throw a strike with a fastball, it tends to be on the perimeter of the strike zone, not right in the middle of the plate. He's been very, very good with that.
Another one hit lazily in the air. This one will reach the seats. 2 strikes. Diamond started the day 9 innings short of qualifying for the earned run average leadership. He would have been 5th if he had 9 more innings in his 2.62 that started the game. He wouldn't be leading. Chris Sale's leading the American League in earned run average. But considering he didn't throw a pitch for the Twins in the month of April, that he has 7 wins is remarkable. And the reason the Twins are a little cautious with him isn't just the innings pitched in the big leagues, but the month's worth that he pitched in Rochester. And you add up those innings to the major league innings, and yeah, they're going to be pretty careful with him in the second half.
And then the projected innings that he would pitch in the second half, you're going to have a young guy throwing 200 innings for the first time.
Just missing the inside corner. Through 34 2/3 innings in Rochester, went 4-1. A little tapper up the line, and that's going to be an infield hit for Wieters. So the misplay in left center field, and now Diamond's had to face at least 2 more batters here in the third. And the Orioles will send Mark Reynolds to the plate with runners on the corners.
Completely different inning, though, by this inning by Scott Diamond. No ball being centered up at all on the big end of the bat. He's had pop flies and a guy hit over the top of one. He jammed Adam Jones. It's a totally different inning and much more Scott Diamond like here in this third inning. Now he's got to be very careful with this guy. You can strike him out, you can get him out, but he can hit some home runs. You have to pitch to the perimeters and change speeds right here. Get out of this inning.
Reynolds hooked a double to the left field corner his first time up. Jim Thome playing for Buck Showalter now. Half swing, strike one.
That was a nice little pitch, a little change-up speed pitch, 82, but it had some kind of slider or break on it, something real different I haven't seen from Scott Diamond before. Really fooled Reynolds.
And Reynolds backs out of the box. Diamond trying to wrap up the third inning here, throwing so far 46 pitches. Should have been through the inning on 40 pitches. Strike 2 taken by Reynolds. Knocked down by Dozier. Safe at second base. Nice play by Dozier, and the flip to Carroll not quite in time to get Wieters. So an Oriole run, 3 straight hits.
None of which were hit hard. That ball got in on Reynolds. See right here, he jams him. He just hits it in a great spot. If Trevor had been able to flag that ball down, they'd have gotten it. It was just a little too much in the hole. Trevor catches this ball, he's got time to get up and throw somebody out, but just those extra 2 hops and the dive by Dozier just too far away. The runner had 2 or 3 extra steps and just got beat the throw to second.
So 8-2, a couple of runners out there, still 2 outs, and Steve Pearce the batter. And the dirt ball 1. Well, these are this run here in the third, and any subsequent runs, unless there's an error, will be earned runs, but it's a run that shouldn't have scored. Down the line. Foul! Oh, very close. Third base umpire Alfonso Marquez ruled it just foul. From up here, it looked like it was right on the chalk line. DeMarlo Hale, the third base coach, appealing.
I had it foul all the way.
Did you?
Oh, yeah, by about a good inch.
Yep.
Yep.
You're right.
You know, they spilled some chalk over there. That threw you off a little bit. You know, you got to keep the chalk right on the line.
Kicked up some dirt or fertilizer or whatever, and it was just an inch or two foul. One and one. And now fouled away. 1-2. Mentioned Pierce, the latest Oriole player to get some time in left field. Nolan Reimold was in left field early in the season when the Twins played out there, and he's lost for the season now because of neck surgery. Diamond finally hoping to get off the field here in the third inning. Down and away. And the pitch count up to 52.
We've seen fastballs and sliders and changeups, different speeds of slider and changeup. We have not seen the big overhand curveball that Scott Diamond features so well, has featured so well. Kind of interesting. He's throwing a lot of pitches without throwing that big curveball.
Is that it there?
No, that was more of the slider there. His curveball is it's a lot more 12 to 6-ish
okay.
than that one is.
Well, another example, and we saw in the bottom of the first, the importance of catching the baseball. Getting the outs when you're supposed to get them. Now the Orioles threatening to jump right back into the ball game. And at the very least, making Diamond work a lot harder in the third here than he should have had to. Another foul away.
Yeah, this will drive a manager crazy. This is the kind of inning that a manager will really tear at his hair, because you always want your team to play crisply and sharply and not in a sloppy manner anyway. And then when your pitcher's throwing well, they haven't hit the ball hard, he still has good stuff, but you make him throw 10 or 15 extra pitches, that can be a killer. That's really aggravating to a manager.
Span will get another chance. He's got a retreat here. And he makes the catch 410 feet away from home plate. The inning ends. 3 2-out hits and a run gifted to the Orioles by the Twins. On Fox Sports North is brought to you by Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, for the everyday competitor in all of us. By CenturyLink, a different kind of communications company. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. And by Grand Casino, the best stories start here. 8-2, Twins in front. Orioles getting a run in the top of the third inning, and Jerry White wondering what in the world happened out there.
Yeah, Denard Span and Josh Willingham, just a little lack of communication on the fly ball to left center field. Jerry White coming over and saying, I know what he's saying to Denard. Denard's a little frustrated. Jerry's saying, you're a center fielder, man. You have to take charge of that out there. You got to want that ball.
Strike one to Ryan Doman, leading off the Twins' third inning. He'll be followed by Brian Dozier and Jamie Carroll. Popped up. And the third baseman, BAL AT MIN, playing where a shortstop would normally play. One down. Part of the world's largest wiffle ball tournament. Popsicles, the big whiff, held at 10 locations across the state August 18th and 19th. Proceeds will benefit the Miracle League of Minnesota, providing every kid the chance to play baseball. Register your team at thebigwhiff.com. The youngster probably plays some wiffle ball. Here's Dozier. Ball one. Dozier drove in a run with a single to left field in the first inning. Later scored on Span's 3-run double. Orioles got a run in the top of the second. Twins answered with one of their own. Now the Orioles with another single run in the top of the third. The outside corner, 1-1.
Talking with Joe Vavra around the batting cage today about Brian Dozier. They're just admonishing him to hit fewer balls in the air, hit the ball on the line, on the ground. He's got real good hitting mechanics. That's what they don't want.
A little chip shot to center field, easy play for Jones, and out number 2. Enjoy the best that Target Field has to offer with your group of 25 or more. No deposits required for a 2012 group outing. Simply reserve your best guess number of seats. Pay only for the number of tickets you actually need. You'll be seated together, and your group's name will appear on the Target Field scoreboard. So organize your church group, business group, sports team, school group. Call 800-33-TWINS and ask about a Twins group outing. 2 gone here in the third, and now Jamie Carroll. Drew what turned out to be a pretty important walk in that 7-run first inning. It set up Span. The very pitch after Carroll went to first with his walk. Span cracked a 3-run double to the fence in right center. 2-0.
Jamie's played a very, very important part of this game already, and is instrumental in the Twins having the 8-2 lead. He turned a real nice double play to get the Twins out of a potential big inning in the first inning. And then that walk you're talking about, Dick, professional job of hitting. Chris Tillman was wild. He let him be wild, worked it all the way to 3-2, just like he's doing now. Don't swing at anything that's out of the zone or that you don't think that you can really put a good swing on. By doing that, he went all the way to 3-2 and then was walked on a 3-2 pitch to load the bases, and Denard Span cleared him with his double. And Jamie Carroll right in the middle of this 8-2 lead, both offensively and defensively.
At the knees, 3-1. And Carroll draws another 2-out walk. The Span comes up with Carroll aboard and 2 down. Early exit for starter Chris Tillman. He could not get through the first inning. Orioles tomorrow are going to call up Zach Britton to make his 2012 debut. The Orioles in need of some starting pitching help. Jason Howell, their ace, is going to miss about a month with some knee issues and knee surgery.
That's really a shame. He was pitching really well, and one of the main reasons they were in the race so up until now, staying so close to the Yankees.
And Rick Adair wondering, like a lot of Oriole fans, what the front office is going to do before the July 31st trade deadline. Some people are speculating the Orioles are interested in the likes of Zach Greinke, Francisco Liriano. Interesting development today. Greinke scratched from his next start. He's going to be skipped, they say, to recharge his batteries. Now, what in the world that would do to his trade value in the middle of July is anybody's guess. Greinke hasn't pitched well as of late, and he will have, before the July 31st deadline, the way it looks now, just one more start. And Carroll dives back. Remembering that he started 3 straight games, he threw to one batter, spiked the ball, got kicked out, pitched the next day because he was ejected in the first inning, and then came back after the break to pitch. Kind of a weird July already for Greinke, and now the ace of the Brewers staff is going to skip a turn. 2-1 to Span. There goes Carroll, and Span lines it foul. Why is the 2-1 count a perfect hit and run count?
Well, the pitcher doesn't want to go. First and foremost, the manager's not going to pitch out. He's not going to take his pitcher 3-1. That's the main reason. But also, then once you're past that, the pitcher doesn't want to go to 3-1. The chances are he's going to throw something over the plate where it gives your hitter a chance to put the ball in play. Now with 2 out, not a hit and run per se. It's a get the runner started on the steal, and then if it's a strike, Denard can hit it. If it's way outside or high, if it's a ball, he can take it. Just they're playing for the steal. But 2-1 and 1 out is the classic hit and run because the hitter has the best chance to get a ball he's going to be able to put in play.
That slipped out of Sokolovic's hand. Full count now to Span, and Carroll will be taking off here with 2 away. Carroll goes, and Span fouls another one back.
You're talking about Jamie Carroll on first base really being an integral part of this game so far. It was also really fun to see him score all the way from first base on Denard's double in the first inning, scored the 7th run of the inning, and jump up and slap his hands together, and that excitement. He was pumped. And you know, for an older veteran player to be that into a game when the club has struggled, they just lost 3 tough, not well played games to Oakland, and he comes right back and he draws a walk and scores from first base. He's really into it. That's got to send a message to everybody on the team as well.
And now a pair of 2-out walks, and Revere will come up with 2 men aboard. Against the Orioles, Ben Revere's put on a show. Last year, Vladimir Guerrero to center field, and Ben Revere made the play of the year in Major League Baseball.
Maybe in the decade in my book. I don't think I've ever seen it. Even it impressed him. Wow, was that good. And tonight, long run, lays all the way flat out. Just a tremendous play.
And now a balk has been committed, and Carroll will go to third and Span to second. And I was admiring Ben Revere's replay. I didn't see exactly what happened there, but a balk sending now 2 men into scoring position.
I was doing the same and missed it. I don't know what he did. One thing we know they can't argue about it.
And Revere takes a strike.
Oh, yeah, there it is. Absolutely. There's a movement that looks like it's the start of the delivery and then stopping. That's a balk every time.
Up the middle. Going to be a tough play. Hits the bag. Here comes Span from second base, and he scores. 2 runs, scoring on an infield hit. And the Twins catch a break with the ball bouncing on second base before it got to Hardy.
Great base running play by Denard Span and third base coach Steve Little. Denard never slowed down. He was coming around the bag. As you see the ball, Hardy's got a beat on it, but I don't think he's going to get Revere anyway. But Denard just never slowed down, and when the ball hit the bag, instead of Hardy's glove, he just kept right on coming and scored the run. That was fun to see right there.
Sokolovich set down 4 men in a row. He walked Carroll. Span battled another walk, then the balk, the infield hit, and just like that, the Twins now lead by 8. And Mauer at the plate. He's driven in a run with a single and hit a solo home run. Mauer's home run looked to be on a off-speed pitch by Sokolovich. Fastball away.
There's a surprise. I'd love to see Joe look for a fastball now from the middle of the plate in and go ahead and do it again. You're trying to go away. There's his 227 pitch. If it's a strike, he doesn't want to swing at that again. Get the ball, get a ball. It's a Ted Williams. It was his mantra. The first and foremost, get a good ball to hit. Get the one that you want. Know yourself. Know what pitches are your strength, and look for that until the pitcher forces you to hit something else. Going for the 227 spot again.
Mauer lines it foul down the left field line. Rough night for Buck Showalter. There's the zone chart for Joe Mauer.
That's why you look at those balls from the middle of the plate in toward him and hit those gaudy averages. With 2-0, I'd love to see Joe just make the ball be in there and not swing the ball out there.
3-1, Willingham on deck.
There's a single in the first inning, and there's a home run. You can see that ball right in the middle of the plate where he's going to get hit $470 million. And yeah, 364 was the home run. 440 was the single in the first inning. Those were the 2 spots.
3-2. Revere will take off early. Reynolds playing behind him. And off-speed pitch up and away. Mauer strikes out. But the Twins get an infield hit that drives in 2 runs, and they lead by 8. Target Field from our GoPro shot. Twins comfortably in front. They've scored in every half inning. But the first 3 innings of this game have taken an hour and a half. I guess when you've had 12 runs scored, 14 hits, a bunch of walks. That's going to happen. Scott Diamond, the beneficiary of 10 early runs. He'll face Chris Davis to lead off the Baltimore fourth. Davis called out on strikes his first time up. Strike one. Orioles have lost 5 of their last 7 series. 15 of their last 22 games. Bounced foul, 2 strikes. And they've been shut out 5 times in the last 22 games.
They're a lineup that has evolved in kind of living by the home run sword and dying by it. When they hit the ball out of the ballpark, they tend to win. If they're not scoring runs via the home run, they struggle.
And a breaking ball by Diamond strikes out Davis for the second time. Get an inside look at the Wild on Becoming Wild Chapter 2 every Tuesday and Thursday on FoxSportsNorth.com. See exclusive footage of a day in the life for the Wild organization. Log on to FoxSportsNorth.com for Becoming Wild Chapter 2. Bet a meet with an RBI single his first time up, and he takes strike one. Meet with a 2-out single to right to get the Orioles on the board. Reynolds led off the inning with a double, but was left there through the next 2 at bats, 1-1. We were talking earlier about how every team in the American League East is above 500. In fact, 14 teams in the American League, 11 of them have winning records. First time in American League history that's been the case. Of course, you know, we just have had 30 teams for a short number of years and 14 in the American League. But you've got that 8-game gap between first and second, then everybody else bunched to within a game and a half of one another. And remembering there are going to be 2 wild card teams this year, not one, it is going to be a frantic final couple months and weeks in the American League East.
That will make for some real drama, some real fun baseball.
On the ground to Carroll. 2 down. And that'll bring up Collison. AT&T trivia. Who was the Orioles manager the last time they finished over 500? My goodness, it's been a long time.
I don't have to go all the way back to Davey Johnson for that.
And a bouncer wide of third. Johnny Oates, perhaps. You don't have to go all the way back to Earl Weaver, but you got to go back a long ways. Collison hit a bouncer to short his first time up. Orioles have had 14 straight losing seasons. And they've had years like this. In fact, last year was a year like this. So they got off to a good start. Diamond bounces off the mound, fires. What a play by Scott Diamond. Bouncing off the mound and delivering a strike to Morneau to end the inning. 10-2 lead for the Twins going to the bottom of the fourth. Scott Diamond pitches well. He holds runners well and fields his position well.
Real nice play right here. He bounces off the mound on a little number, sets himself, and makes a quick throw. Very nice play.
The Twins now will hit in the fourth inning with Josh Willingham facing Kevin Gregg.
Kevin Gregg been all over the relief corps. Tried as a closer. He's been a setup guy. He's been all over the place.
Willingham, Morneau, and Plouffe. You can Al for a question at carsoup.com/baseball. Ted Johnson of New Ulm says he's heard us say Josh Willingham is a traditional right-handed power hitter. What do we mean by that?
Traditional and old-fashioned power hitter. I've heard a lot of those kinds of adjectives describing Josh Willingham. Basically what people are talking about is that he knows that his power is to left field. He likes to get the big end of the bat out in front, and he's unapologetic for that. His approach is to go up, get a ball from the middle of the plate in toward him, and hit the ball in the air to his pull field, which is the best way to hit the ball out of the ballpark. That's what he tries to do.
Makes a 4-pitch walk here to start the fourth inning. Traditional right-handed power hitter Herman Killebrew was one of those too.
Yeah, this is an old-fashioned country hardball. He would get the ball in on him and just turn and go to left field. Watch the same thing with Josh. Get the ball in, turn, and go to left field. That ball looked like Josh. That might have been the one he hit off the batter's halfway up the batter's eye to center, but center field is kind of right field for Josh Willingham. He's trying to hit the ball in left field.
Here's Morneau, an opposite field double and a fly ball to center. Morneau with his double extended his hitting streak to 14 games. Strokes it to right. Willingham almost had to skip rope. He'll go to third base. So Morneau with a sharp double to left and now a sharp single to right.
Good swing by Justin on a ball that most left-handers like. The ball down at the middle, from the middle end down there. Left-hand hitters just like it down there. They drop the big end of the bat on it, hit it to their pull field. Good swing by Justin.
Ron Coomer, Justin Morneau using the whole field. He likes the ball down low, got one and hammered it to right.
He does like it down and in. He also, like you said, Dick, he's been using the whole field and hit that other ball down the left field line. But when you're talking about elevating a baseball, and you guys were just talking about the old traditional power hitter, when you start looking at what the guys have done tonight who have hit the ball really sharply, that ball Morneau hit, he hit way out in front of home plate and got his arms extended, not away from him towards home plate, but away from him towards the pitcher. And that is the extension that you're looking for when you're a hitter.
Plouffe will get an RBI. Little tapper to short. Hardy goes to Tollison, and coming in from third is Willingham, another Twins run.
And this is the swing we're talking about. You look at the contact point where Justin hits the ball out in front of his front foot, and he hooks that baseball, and that's what you're looking for. When you're trying to elevate the baseball or pull the ball, you really want to generate power. You really want to make sure you're making contact in front of home plate and quite a bit out in front of you. And that right there, you see that. That's way out in front, and that ball was smoked.
Twins with 9 hits. They've taken 5 walks, and all 5 batters who walked have scored. Doman skies it behind second base. Adam Jones squeezes it 2 down.
You know, Coom, we've talked a lot about guys getting in hitters counts 2-0 and 3-1. And we're saying, okay, look for your pitch and get the bat head out. And that's what you're talking about there. You can pick pitches and pick spots where you have a pretty good idea that guy's going to throw you a fastball. And you pick a spot out there in the middle of the plate to a little bit more in, out in front of the plate, say, I'm just not going to let him get past this spot. I'm going to get the big end of the bat out there.
Dozier takes a ball.
Yes, Roy, that is just a great point. to me, you know, even hitting off the tee, you would set up the tee in certain spots as you're warming up for BP, and you'd put it out in front of you in that pull slot, and it's way out in front, and your hands work out to it, and I think that's what you're looking at. The home run by Maurer, the ball that Morneau just hit, that's what you're looking at from some of our big guys trying to get the head of the bat out to the ball.
Up the middle, Hardy sets and fires. Dozier by half step is retired. The inning ends. Twins add one more in the fourth. They've scored in every inning so far. We're at Target Field. It's been a fun night for Twins fans. Hot and steamy, but fun. Marty Gellner, Ron Coomer, Roy Smalley, Dick Kramer bringing you an 11-2 Twins romp so far. Burt Blyleven is healthy. He's fine. He's down in Florida. He's going to Cooperstown this weekend, but we're lucky to have Roy Smalley sitting in for this series. And then Ron Coomer is going to do the road trip. You'll be joining us in Chicago as well for that. Tom Kelly sat in during the Oakland series. Markakis bunts foul. So Markakis with one strike. Red Sox beat the White Sox 5-1. The only Chicago run driven in by Kevin Youkilis, who got a very warm reception at Fenway Park tonight. One and one. Now more of those breaking balls that we're seeing now in the middle innings. He drops one over for a strike.
After the first inning and an out or two into the second, all of a sudden Scott Diamond started finding his rhythm again and finding his command of the strike zone. He's throwing it pretty much where he wants to now.
A pretty good hitter just dropped a base hit into left center on Diamond on a pitch down and away.
That was a real good pitch, and Nick Markakis, left-hand hitter that hits left-handed pitching pretty well, and the reason is the example that we're going to see here. Markakis not trying to pull this slow breaking ball, stays right with it. Below the strike zone you can see, but again, left-handed hitter likes the ball down most of the time, and the key to that was successful at bat was his being willing to wait and hit the ball to left field. That's good hitting.
Fox Strikes brought to you by Window Concepts of Minnesota. One and 0 to Hardy, who's walked and hit a fly ball to right. Hardy's struggles continuing. 4 hits now in 56 at bats. driven to right. Revere chasing this one. Oh, that's in his back pocket. That one hung in the air a little bit. In the first inning, he robbed Adam Jones of an extra base hit by laying out to catch the line drive. Twins and Orioles back at it again tomorrow night. And you can come out and take advantage of the Sports Authority Value Pack. The Sports Authority Value Pack gets you a ticket in the U.S. Bank Home Run Porch View section and a free Schweigert hot dog and Pepsi. You can call 833-TWINS or visit twinsbaseball.com and check out all the options for the upcoming games at Target Field. One down. Here's Jones. Jones hit a slicing line drive to the right field corner. Revere made a tremendous catch. Here's a bunt, and it's going to be a base hit. Markakis threatened to bunt before dropping a single to left center, and now Jones does bunt for a hit. First and second, one away.
Jones catches third baseman Trevor Plouffe playing way back. He was back so deeply that all he had to do was get the ball rolling in that direction. If it was fair and the pitcher couldn't get to it, it was going to be a hit. He could have hit it another 10 feet further if he wanted to. Trevor was playing back so deep.
Wieters singled his last time up, bounced into a critical double play in the first inning. In the context of what happened in the Oakland series, and then tonight, a base hit by Markakis, a walk to Hardy, a pitcher who hadn't been on the mound in a week and a half. And I think a lot of fans were going, oh boy, here we go again. Revere makes his play. Wieters chops one to Plouffe. Carroll on the pivot does a great job. The Twins get the double play, get out of the inning, and before the Orioles came up again, they were down 7-0. Swing and a miss with Diamond challenging Wieters with a fastball. Again, that's just 89 miles per hour.
But the reason that can be effective is because he's thrown so many pitches to all of these right-hand hitters that have been inside or slow and throwing them over and tantalizing with them. Then they see one up and out over the plate that they should hit. They're just their eye level's just not right with the pitch. It just fools them. And that's been what Scott Diamond has done all year long. It's a testimony to a pitcher being able to throw 3 different pitches for strikes all the time. The hitters just never get comfortable thinking that they know what's coming.
2-1 to Wieters. Fouled away, 2-2. Well, all I know is, and I've expressed this on the air, I've expressed it on Twitter, it's fun to watch this guy pitch. Because you get a sense that every pitch is thrown with a purpose. There are no wasted pitches. And he's taken what he's been given in terms of skills. He's not going to throw 95 like Chris Tillman. Poked foul. And he will make do with an 89, 90 mile per hour fastball because he can spot it.
He spots that, and he throws change-ups and breaking balls in fastball type counts. He starts hitters off with those kinds of pitches, and not just flopping up and get me over some kind of breaking ball, but one that really impresses the hitter. A good slider or a good curveball that the hitter says, man, if he throws me that with 2 strikes, I got problems. And then all of a sudden he gets the hitter thinking, and he's way ahead of the hitter by that time.
Into Tony Oliva's broadcast booth over there. Still 2-2. Showed you Diamond's pitch count a few moments ago. There's Tony working the Spanish broadcast on radio for the Twins. And a curveball hit straight up into the air. Carroll lost it. The batter's out. Infield fly rule was called, and that's why that rule was put into effect 120 years ago. In the twilight time in any ballpark, it can be tough. The ball disappears. It's not dark enough to have a good background behind it, almost like it did on the roof at the Metrodome. Morneau saw it, but he thought Carroll saw it. The batter's out, as if the ball were caught.
Jamie doesn't have any idea. He knows it's coming at him someplace. He's looking for Justin for help. He knows it's around. There's him somewhere. He just can't find it. And you're right that high, cloudless twilight sky is very, very difficult to see a Mississippi mud roughed up baseball.
Yeah.
It really is.
So no error on the play. It's just played and scored as if Carroll caught the ball. F4. And Mark Reynolds will hit with 2 on and 2 out. Fastball right on the outside corner.
And I was looking for an umpire to signal for the infield fly rule to be in effect. I assumed it would be the first or second base umpire. Neither one of them really gave a definitive call. Someone must have called it, maybe the home plate umpire, but it was clearly an infield fly, and I didn't see them call it.
See, that's what's it's fun to watch.
Yeah, it's just
90
great.
miles per hour, knee high on the outside corner, back to back.
With a little cut on it where it starts outside and the hitter kind of gives up on it, and it just kind of inches back over the outside corner.
So 2 strikes to Mark Reynolds. Reynolds very strikeout prone throughout his career. And you know what? That's pinpoint control too. I honestly believe he threw that fastball exactly where he wanted to on all 3 pitches, including the one off the plate.
Yep. 1 and 2 in Foxtrot's. They're right on top of each other on the corner, so there's 2 strikes. And you're right, Dick. He went out. He said, "Let me see if Reynolds will chase." He knows I'm going out there. Maybe he'll chase something away out there.
And now 2 and 2.
He and Joe Mauer also know that Reynolds, like Josh Willingham, wants to pull the ball, wants to hit the ball in the seats to left field if he can. He's looking for something in there. So they're staying away from him. You can really impress a guy like this probably earlier in the count than 2 and 2 here, but had he come in off the plate where he couldn't hit it, make him think he's going to get one in there and then go back outside to get him out.
Lifted to left. Reynolds was waiting for it. They tried to come inside, and it's a 3-run home run, and it's 11-5. I was watching Mauer, and he set up late, and he set up in the inside corner. And Reynolds, would you call it the cat and mouse game between the pitcher and the hitter? And Reynolds suspected one might be coming in, and he was waiting for it.
Well, he's just always looking for the ball, and there's a slider right,
changeup,
and right in the middle of the plate. He went down like that on the knee because the speed fooled him just a little bit. As Dick said, it was a changeup, some little off-speed change that had a little movement into the hitter, like that one right there. And Reynolds had to go down to get it. Had his right knee almost touching the ground, but he stayed with it. And he can hit the ball out of the ballpark. We know that.
So
especially on a ball in the middle of the plate.
11-5, 87th pitch for Diamond, and he misses down and away 1-1. So the hits are even, but the Twins have a 6-run lead. We had a game like that against Oakland this past weekend, where the hits, for whatever they're worth, were even, but still a lopsided scoreboard, and it still is a 6-run lead for the Twins. Driven foul. You know, one thing about Diamond's season, as wonderful as it's been, he's exceeded 100 pitches only 4 times and never thrown more than 102 pitches. Typically his starts are completed around 90 pitches, and this will be his 89th pitch on a hot, muggy night. This might be the last inning for Scott Diamond. 1-2. Chopper to short, should end the inning. Head high hop for Dozier, and that takes care of it. A big 3-run, 2-out home run for Mark Reynolds. It's still 11-5 Twins.
$100 worth of scratch-off tickets from the Minnesota Lottery from Paul Teagarden. Dick, you're going to have to get out your map for this one. He's from Hunter, North Dakota. The birthday is today. You came here just for the game. What's been the best part of your birthday so far?
Watching the Twins bats come alive and score a lot of runs.
Good to see after the weekend, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
You saw a Mauer home run tonight.
Yes, we did. That was great.
Happy birthday, congratulations, and enjoy your lottery tickets.
Thank you very much.
Scratch-off tickets, another birthday winner. It's Paul Teagarden. Dick, have you found Hunter, North Dakota?
I have. It's just north of Arthur and not too far from Fargo-Moorhead. A little bit due east of Page, North Dakota. A little bit north of Castleton. Looks like it's about 15 minutes from I-94, just outside of Fargo. Here's Jamie Carroll leading off the Twins' 5th inning. Carroll, Span, and Revere facing Kevin Gregg. No activity in the Twins bullpen, so the Twins look like they're going to try to get another inning out of Scott Diamond. Again, he's well rested, to be sure. He's hadn't pitched in a week and a half. His last start coming in Detroit. He didn't pitch in the Texas series at all. Didn't obviously pitch during the All-Star break and got the Oakland series off. 2-1 to Carroll. 3-1. Again, the Twins have taken 5 walks through 4 innings, and all 5 of those runners have scored, including obviously Carroll twice. At the knees. 3-2.
Jamie Carroll just will make you throw the ball over, and he won't beat himself. You have to beat him with a quality strike.
Pulled to third. Gobbled up by Benamit. 1 down. That'll bring up Denard Span. Buck Showalter earlier this year picked up his 1,000th managerial win, but the last Oriole, the manager, I think it was Davey Johnson. Nice going. Very nice. I would have guessed Johnny Oates. But the Orioles were perennial entrants in the playoffs. And then the farm system became fallow. And some free agent signings didn't turn out at all like they had hoped. And of course, the competition, the competition in the division got tougher. You know, the Yankees about that time ratcheted up their payroll even more. The Red Sox figured their act out for a while. And big factor over the last 5-6 years has been I think in baseball terms and economic terms, the miraculous run of the Tampa Bay Rays.
Absolutely. That has been really, really amazing.
One and 2 to Span. His swing in the first inning, his second at bat of the first inning, maybe the most important one of the ball game so far. A 3-run double, completing what was a 7-run first inning for the Twins. The Twins have scored in every half inning so far. 2-2 now to Span. 3-2. With Revere on deck. Pulled fair down the line. Span will round first, and he'll be held there. Markakis has a great arm. Now Span challenged back at first, and Reynolds deflects Markakis' throw. Well played by Markakis. You have to respect the little foul territory that exists down there and retreat to the corner, but then look for the carom at the same time.
Fastball right in the middle of the plate. Good swing by Denard. Looking fastball. Quick swing. Gets it by Reynolds. And really unlucky because he has an easy double here. But Markakis had started toward the corner. Played the carom. And as you say, Dick, he's got a terrific arm. Fortunately, that ball got away, but Wieters was backing up, fortunately for the Orioles. Markakis.
Span has reached 3 times, 2 hits and a walk. Revere has 2 hits, a double that started the 7-run first inning, and then a chopper over the mound that hit the second base bag. An infield hit that drove in 2 runs. You don't see that every day. Span takes off. Wieters throw a perfect one right on the bag, and Span is thrown out for out number 2.
Not a great jump by Denard right there, but I'm really glad to see him do that. Denard has been a little reluctant to steal second base when he's on first, and you can see Greg fairly quick to the plate, and not a great jump by Denard. That'll lead to a caught stealing when you got a guy like Wieters behind the plate. But I'm still glad to see Denard doing that. I'd like to see him get thrown out a bit if it takes that, to get him in the aggressive mode trying to steal, because if he can become a steal guy, that will take his game to the next level. I think that's the next move for Denard, is becoming a 25 to 30 stolen base per year guy.
Revere is in that category already.
And we've talked about it before when I've been up here with you, Dick. In order, the guys that love to steal the most are really aggressive about it. That young man right there, Mastroianni, just can't wait to get on and steal the base.
Right.
Ben Revere has got that kind of attitude, not quite as intensely as Mastroianni. And Denard has the ability to steal bases, but has been a little bit more reluctant. Here's a very close pitch with 2 strikes. Could have been run up. That's the 227 pitch for Joe, the 127 for the rest of us.
Gonna be a tough play. Nice play by Tollison. Throws it away. Revere will get an infield hit. Revere turned inside in foul territory. They'll tag him anyway. So Tollison with a nice catch, but Revere's aboard with his 3rd hit of the night.
Good play, and he might get an awful lot of guys. You're not going to get this guy immediately at full speed, and you're just not going to get him if you don't play it cleanly and get the ball over there right away.
Well, if Span was going to try to steal a base, it's logical to think that Revere would try to steal here. Mauer takes a strike. Revere with 18 steals, 4th in the American League, behind Mike Trout, Rajay Davis, and Jason Kipnis. Kipnis has been a revelation for the Indians. He was not much of a base stealer in the minor leagues, and he comes up to the big league level and gets 20 in his first full year already. 1-1.
And has been a terrific hitter for them as well. I think ahead of the game in terms of development as an offensive player that they expected as well. He's turned himself into a real fine player.
At the knees, 1-2.
Revere had a thought about it right there. Gave a little flinch like he was going as we look at the leaders. Ben Revere 4th, as Dick said. Mike Trout, just a breakout season. Probably the runaway rookie of the year.
Might be the runaway MVP when
Yeah,
it's all said and done. There goes Revere. And Revere steals safely. You know, it's interesting. Denard Span has maintained for years he's a feet first slider. And we've never seen Ben Revere slide feet first. Revere always goes in head first.
You can see a better jump there by Ben. If you want, that's a good jump off the pitcher, top speed right away, and all that speed just not going to get him.
2-2 to Mauer.
He had a thought about it the pitch before that, and he got the timing down the pitch before.
And Hallion rings up Mauer, who struck out the last 2 at bats. First time tonight, the Twins didn't score in an inning, but they still lead by 6.
Yeah, here's a look at tomorrow's game day forecast for the Twins game at Target Field. Mostly cloudy skies, not all that warm, but still humid, and there will be a thunderstorm early on. Temperatures by first pitch in the middle 80s.
Well, the Twins have an 11-5 lead, and tonight it's still 90 degrees.
I love this kind of weather. This is real baseball. Yeah, I really did. You get nice and loose. It just feels like you see the ball well, you're swinging well. I love playing there.
I would much prefer 20 below weather to this. I honestly would.
Really?
I really would.
I just can't. I can't even fathom it.
I can't. I'm not getting much love here in the booth. Scott Diamond out there for the 6th inning. First pitch fouled away. I just find it hard to breathe when it's this hot and humid.
I can't breathe when it's 20 below, so there we go.
Well, I know I can because I can see my breath.
I can't because my eyes are shut so tight I can't see anything.
Chris Davis takes a strike. Now it's 0-2. Well, Diamond entering the inning with 89 pitches, and the Twins would like to get another inning. And maybe under different circumstances they would have pulled him after 5, but the Twins haven't gotten many innings from their starting pitchers since the All-Star break. So the Twins letting Diamond go out there for the 6th.
Well, I think with all the rest that he's had, and then again not pitching for another 5 days, I think letting him go one more inning, get through the 6th, hopefully end up with 100, 110 pitches. That's not too bad here after all this rest.
1-2. Davis, Betemit, and Tollison, and the Orioles got back to somewhat within striking range with a 3-run home run in the 5th. Diamond would love to put a 0 up in the 6th, and that's a good start. Davis doesn't like it, barks at Tom Hallion, and Hallion about ready to toss him out of the ball game, and that would be an issue for the Orioles because they're playing short. Although Tomey could slide into the DH spot. There's a pitch that looked like it was well outside.
We got to listen to the call anyway. He's
Davis,
right, that ball was outside. Excuse me. That ball was a bit outside according to Fox Tracks, but it was such a quality pitch. And Hallion's really hot. And I don't mean hot mad. I mean he's just. I know. I just mean he's hot.
He'd prefer 20 below.
No, he just wants to keep the game moving.
Oh, okay. Well, Diamond only has 3 strikeouts, and he's gotten Davis all 3 times. That one off the plate, 2-0.
That was such a good slider that struck Davis out. It might have fooled the umpire a little bit. The ball did definitely start right on the corner. It looked like a great pitch, and kept sliding. It was a good slider.
And now 3-0.
Might have fooled the umpire a little bit too, but it was a great pitch. Burt would have wanted it. I know that.
Did it get there in the air? Burt wanted it. Down the middle of the strike. I mentioned the Orioles a little short-handed. They've got a dozen pitchers. The Twins have 13. But one of their listed bench players tonight, Robert Andino, went to Baltimore or stayed in Baltimore to have his injured shoulder examined. 2 hopper to Plouffe in an easy play here for out number 2. We'll complete the story in a moment. First, some business. The CenturyLink high-speed pitch. Diamond still pitching in the 6th, and his mound opponent was knocked out in the 1st.
And 97 didn't get out of the 1st inning. 91 has had another pretty efficient night in terms of throwing the ball over and getting weak outs, except for one swing by Mark Reynolds. He's really kept the ball off the big end of the bat most of the time.
Span with a diving catch to end the 6th inning.
And watch him close on this ball.
Very big ball game in Detroit. Rick Porcello pitching to Torrey Hunter, banging one off the fence. Tigers came back though and beat the Angels 8-6 with Troy Hawkins giving up the lead. Diamond now getting the discussion with his pitching coach. So Detroit now ahead of Cleveland in the standings, putting some heat on the White Sox, who lost earlier tonight.
Pitching coach Rick Anderson giving the "that's all for you tonight" Scott Diamond talk about how he did during the game, all the things he did well, a couple of things that he would have rather done a little bit differently, but all in all, pitched real well, kept the Orioles off the board while the Twins were scoring runs, and gave up three when the game was seemingly decided. So it'll be up to the Twins bullpen to make it so.
Kevin Gregg still out there. Excuse me, Darren O'Day, it says, is out there now. Side armor pitching to Josh Willingham. A foul, 1 strike. So Gregg gives up 1 run. He walked the first batter he faced, and that batter came around to score. He gave up 3 singles.
Darren O'Day and his delivery, one of the many examples of right-handers that made me a switch hitter.
A liner to center and a base hit. O'Day was a key part of the Texas Ranger bullpen the last couple of years, coming over from the Angels before that. And the Rangers, why not? They had the arms to do it. They went with a more power presence coming out of the bullpen. And if they can ever get all their guys healthy, and some are going to have to get shuttled over to the bullpen, guys like Neftali Feliz perhaps, setting up Nathan. My goodness, that's going to be a bullpen to reckon with. Here's Morneau. That's to right center field. Jones won't get it. It'll go all the way to the wall. Willingham rounds third. He's going to score. And Morneau with his 3rd hit, his 2nd double. And the Twins get a quick run against Darren O'Day.
That's what Justin needs for sure. A 3-hit game, all 3 at bats, really, real good at bats. That ball, I think, not outside the outside corner, and he's able to muscle it into right center, a little bit off the end of the bat because it was so far away from him, but he's seeing the ball well tonight and has had 3 really good swings.
And now Trevor Plouffe. Plouffe has seen Morneau extend his hitting streak with 3 hits here tonight. Plouffe looking for his first. He's walked and scored, drove in a run with a ground ball in the 4th. Going to appeal at third base. To see whether Morneau had touched the base or not. Willingham, I mean. Now they'll appeal again. And save again.
Well, they made a no call the first time because the third base umpire was going to make the call, but the second base umpire had time. They called time for some reason. So they had to get time back in and do it again.
And that'll extend his hitting streak. Dumping a single to right. Morneau will be held at third. So Plouffe and Morneau each will take a 14-game hitting streak into tomorrow's game. And the inning starts with 3 hits against Darren O'Day.
Well, Trevor stays on it long enough. It's a side armor and a breaking ball away, and he just, rather than try to pull it, he just chunks it into right field. And sometimes you got to hit a pitcher the way you can and not the way you want to. Trevor would rather pull the ball in the left field seats, give himself a chance to hit the ball long to left center or left field, but against that pitch and this pitcher, you're not going to be able to do that. I don't think O'Day was going to let him see anything in there. So flare the ball to right and get yourself a hit.
Here's Domet looking for his first hit. Foul away. Domet reached on an error in the first inning. Key play on a ground ball mishandled by Mark Reynolds at first. Skied to center. And that'll carry out near the warning track. Everybody's going to try to advance. Plouffe scampers to second. Morneau scores from third. A sacrifice fly for Domet. The Twins, who didn't score in the fifth, have scored in every other inning, have 2 on the board already in the sixth.
I'd like to see that at bat from Ryan Domet. A good at bat with a runner on third and less than 2 outs. Even with the big lead, the manager, if the skipper were sitting here, if Tom Kelly were sitting here, he would say, keep playing the game correctly, keep playing it correctly. Just because it scores 12-5 doesn't mean you need to all of a sudden try to hit the ball out of the ballpark. He just stayed in the middle of the diamond, got himself a sacrifice fly, moved up both runners. Good hitting, because that will come back in the next game and the next game and the next game. If you keep having quality at bats, that carries over.
I'm trying to think back to the sidearm submarine pitchers of your era. There's a fly to left center field, and Pierce tracking it on the edge of the warning track. Plouffe will move up another base. Follow the Twins with MLB.com at Bat 12 for your iPhone, iPad, Android, BlackBerry, or Windows Mobile. Get live audio, pitch tracking, video highlights, and much more. Text at Bat to 31826. Visit twinsbaseball.com. The name Mark Eichhorn.
Yep.
Comes to mind. I think he, towards the end of your career.
Yep, I saw Eichhorn, but you know, the quintessential guy at my era was Dan Quisenberry.
Oh, sure, yeah, closer.
Yep. Excellent. He was from way down under submariner.
O'Day is.
He's a little more. He starts out. He drops his shoulder like he's going to submarine, and then comes back a little bit more sidearm.
Right.
Quisenberry would drop his front shoulder down, and then stay down there. We talked about Scott Diamond's release point, and the batter's trying to look up high above his head and to the left of his hat to pick up the ball. Quisenberry scrape his knuckles on the ground almost. You had to look down by his ankles to find where the ball was coming from.
We haven't had a submariner for a while in baseball. At least I can't think of any for quite some time.
No, not for a while. Not for a while. And, I'm, how should we say this? Experienced enough to have played, hit against Bruce Keeson, who came from the side a lot.
Right.
Not really a submariner, but did throw a lot from the side. Teammate of Bert's.
John Candelaria was kind of from the left side over on the side.
Yep.
Sid Fernandez. I'm trying to think. The Orioles had just in the last few years they had a submariner. And I'll have to look his name up during the next inning break. Chad Bradford. That's the guy I'm trying to think of. Foul back. Pitch left up. Carroll sends it to the screen. Twins had one on the 91 team. Terry Leach had the submarine to sidearm delivery. I don't know what Pat Neshek was.
Different.
Yeah, I mean, if you looked at as he threw the ball, it was sidearm almost to 3/4. It's just how he got there that was so unusual. Carroll got a good night at the plate with a couple of walks and now an RBI single.
Yeah, I would call Neshek a true side armor.
Yeah.
You know, for sure. Stays right in there, back up the middle, excited about it, driving the run in.
So a 3 spot for the Twins here in the 6th. And Denard Span up there for the 5th time.
The reason I say that, you know, stayed up the middle, stayed back through the ball with Jamie Carroll, got the hit for a right-hander to hit against a side armor. If you try to pull the ball, 2 bad things happen. If he throws you that ball that sinks, the fastball is going to sink. You're going to hit over the top of it. And if he throws you the breaking ball that runs so far away, you're going to be way out in front or hit it off the end of the bat or hit over the top of that. So you really have to discipline yourself to hit back through the ball against guys like this.
Checked his swing. It's 2-0.
And it's so hard to do because when the guy comes, if you're a right-hand hitter and a guy's coming from the side, you tend to bail with the arm. As the arm's coming over to the side, your body tends to go that way, and you tend to spin a little bit. Turn your body, and that's what gets you hitting over the top of a lot of pitches. It really takes some discipline as a right-hand hitter against a guy like this to stay back in the middle of the field, back through the ball.
Chopper to third. Benamit fires across the diamond to end the inning, but the inning starts with 3 hits. All guys come around to score. Twins up by 9.
And it was all in the first inning. Joe Mauer gets us started with an RBI single. Then maybe the play of the game, a miscue by Mark Reynolds at first base, really opens the floodgates. Brian Dozier drives in a run after Justin Morneau had doubled, and Denard Span hit a bases clearing double. Then Joe Mauer goes in the flower bed for a home run, and the Twins have just continued to add on. We are now at 14-5 as the Orioles come to bat in the top of the 7th.
That's the add-on runs that you're only giving up 7, but here the Orioles have put 5 up. If it's a 7-5 game, well, then everybody's feeling a little uneasy about this time of the game. Anthony Swarzak coming out of the Twins pen to pitch to Baltimore in the 7th inning. Six innings for Scott Diamond, having not pitched in 10 days, 11 days. Actually 10 days between the starts. And Markakis, who has a pair of hits and a run scored, will lead off the 7th. Strike 1.
Anthony Swarzak demonstrating his job right now. Throw the ball over.
To left. Markakis has his 3rd hit, all singles. and all 3 hits leading off an inning. Rasmussen College is proud to present Student Days every Wednesday at Target Field. Students can attend the Twins-Orioles game Wednesday and get a standing room only ticket for just $8. Student Day tickets are available beginning at 9 in the morning on Wednesday. There's a limit of 1 ticket per student with a valid ID. For more information, visit twinsbaseball.com or call 800-33-TWINS. Here's J.J. Hardy, a couple of outfield flies, both of them to right field, drew a walk in the first inning.
And even though Markakis got a base hit on that last pitch that he saw, there's 3 strikes in a row from Swarzak, and that's what he needs to do. Some guys are going to find some holes, but you don't let guys get ahead in the count, and you don't put them on by walking. Just keep firing in there with your best stuff over the plate. 14-5 in the 7th. Good stuff over the plate. You got a lot of guys standing out there in the way of even hard hit balls. So just your enemy here is 2-0, 3-1 counts, and bases on balls.
Driven to deep center. Span going back at the wall. Makes the catch. Oh, what a catch by Denard Span. He ended the 6th inning with a nice diving catch. Now going back into his right. He crashes into the fence. A great play by the Twins center fielder.
That was a terrific play. He has to cover it. He has to go a long way. J.J. Hardy hits the ball long way, deepest part of the park. Denard goes a long way, knows he's going to run into the fence, takes a quick look, jumps, catch, and protect yourself. Come up throwing. Nice play.
One down. Markakis still at first, and here's Adam Jones.
That last peek that he had gave him the confidence to know that he was going to be able to jump and catch and then protect his shoulder running into the chain link out there. He took one last look and said, yep, I got it.
2-0.
He knew he wasn't going to have to. He knew he was right here. You see, he looks, he knows where the fence is. I know I'm 1, 2, 3 steps, and I can catch it before I hit the fence.
(2-0) to Jones, and a bouncer through the hole. Swarzak gives up a couple of base hits here in the 7th inning. And that'll bring up Matt Wieters.
Joe Tell and Anthony right here probably, yes, we do have to throw the ball over all the time, but it doesn't have to be a fastball in the middle of the plate all the time. We can throw some other stuff. As long as we're throwing strikes, let's mix it up a little bit.
Wieters bounced into a double play in the first, then a single in the 3rd, and a pop-up to Carroll that actually wasn't caught. Infield fly rule was called, and Wieters was ruled out. But now we've got pitch black skies, and if anybody hits it up in the air, it should be caught. Sliced foul. I think you can tell on TV that Wieters is a catcher just by looking at his uniform. He is soaked through his jersey from about the 3rd inning on. And you can see it's a different shade of gray than his uniform pants.
His jersey's grayer than all of his teammates, that's for sure.
Another infield fly. And it's called.
And that one's called, yep.
That was a tougher play in terms of positioning for Carroll, but he's able to see it all the way in the pitch black sky. 2 down. Mark Reynolds at the plate. I don't know what the Twins' intentions are for Swarzak here tonight, but it's rare that they will allow a pitcher to get a 3-inning save. I mean, the Twins' bullpen obviously has been overworked, and if you were to use Swarzak for all 3 innings here, he'd be out of commission for a couple of days. But he would be able to save anybody else an inning or 2. I always thought you know, if you could, you'd want to do that. If you could get through a game with just 2 pitchers rather than using 3 or 4. But the Twins are like most teams. They rarely will give a pitcher an opportunity to finish the ball game with 3 innings. A lot has to do with how they're doing out there, too. Now, Swarzak has a couple outs. He's thrown a dozen pitches.
I think if they're ever going to do it, this would be the case with your guy that out there that's the long man anyway. That's the fellow that, you know, that tends to get the middle innings and try to get you 3 or 4 innings in the middle innings. I think it might be an idea in manager Ron Gardenhire's mind and pitching coach Rick Anderson that if he pitches 2 innings, we're not going to have him come back and pitch 4 tomorrow anyway in the middle of the game. So we might as well save everybody else for the rest of the series. If he pitches 3 today, he still can come back and pitch several innings in games 3 or 4 of this series. So this might be the one time where they were considering it.
And if he issues a walk here to Reynolds to fill the bases, then that might change their thinking.
Well, you're right. It all depends on how well he does here through the 7th and possibly the 8th.
Reynolds a triple short of the cycle here tonight. 3-1. It's to the right field corner and a foul ball. When you see the changeup pulled for a home run and a foul ball down the opposite field line that still travels to the wall, you get an idea what's kept Reynolds in this game. It's his power. It isn't his fielding. He's already made a critical error here tonight at first base. But if the ball jumps off a player's bat, there'll never be teams that won't be interested in him in some role or another.
It's really true. If you can hit the ball in the ballpark, you've always got a chance to have a job. This guy has, per time at bat, per total times at bat, has a pretty good ratio of home runs, and he'll strike out a whole bunch. People will take his less perfect defense on his 200 strikeouts.
And Reynolds strikes out to strand a couple of runners. The Orioles are scoreless in the 7th. Good play by Denard Span for the first out of the inning.
Is brought to you by McDonald's. Get a freshly brewed cup of premium roast coffee from McDonald's. Any size is just $1. And by AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T. Rethink possible.
It's been a real good night for the Twins, and it started early with a 7-run first inning. Even before that, A couple of really nice defensive plays that might have set the tone for what was to follow.
I think the diving catch with two guys on by Ben Revere and then the really nice play by turning a double play by Jamie Carroll did absolutely set the tone. No question about it. Got everybody excited right in the game, right from the very start.
Troy Patton comes out of the Baltimore bullpen to pitch to Ben Revere, who's got a 3-hit night going. He made the great play. 3 hits, 2 runs batted in, and a run scored. It'll be a tough play for Hardy. He has to get rid of it hurriedly, and he does.
That's a good play.
Good play by J.J. Hardy, retiring the speedy Revere. Twins a lot of hits, taking some walks that have come around to score, the in-game box score. Good night for the first 5 hitters with a dozen hits in the first 5 spots.
As I said earlier, great to see Justin Morneau with three knocks, 3 really good swings. I'd get that big guy feeling good about himself again. That'd be really fun to see him heat up this second half.
Bauer hits his first 2 times up. An RBI single in the first, scoring the first run of the game. Then a solo home run leading off the second. Since then, though, a couple of strikeouts. Fouled back. Patton, the only left-hander in an 8-man Baltimore bullpen. And it's significant because it seems like for the longest time other teams have had at least 3 left-handed relievers. Justin Morneau's struggles against lefties have been pretty well documented, but the Orioles right now don't appear to be particularly well equipped with left-handed relievers. And they have to use Patton here, or choose to, in a game that's a little lopsided right now.
Interesting to me that that manager Buck Showalter would choose to use him right here and in a lopsided game and not save him for a close game when he needs to get a key lefty out. Buck's a terrific manager. He knows what he's doing, so I'm not going to second guess him, but I think it is an interesting use of the early left-hander.
Bounder up the line, right to the bag. Reynolds catches it, steps on it, the bag simultaneously, 2 down. Vikings training camp starts in less than 2 weeks, and Brian Hall is analyzing one of the team's positions each weekday leading up to its arrival in Mankato. Check out the offensive line preview now and catch up with the rest of the series at foxsportsnorth.com. Imagine a day like this. Of course, they've had them in Mankato, football training camp. First whistle at whatever it is, 7:30, 8 in the morning. Grueling workouts. Here's Willingham. He's reached his last 3 times up. Fouled it back. Two strikes to Willingham. A little bit high. Breaking ball tapped to the left side. Betamit. A little problem with it, but he still has time to throw out Willingham. And it's a 1-2-3-7 inning for Patrick. Twins outfield defense and the infielders too.
Everybody got in the act. Ben Revere with a great catch. Jamie Carroll with a very important turn of the double play. Even the pitcher got in the act. Scott Diamond making a nice play. And then Denard Span had two terrific plays back-to-back in back-to-back innings. Coming in on one and going back against the fence for the other one. So many times, so often, it's the defense ultimately that wins the ball game, and the Twins defense has been terrific tonight.
Yeah, don't know yet about the ninth inning, but Anthony Swarzak sent out there to pitch the eighth. You know, the Twins didn't do anything right in the 3 games against Oakland. They got some hits and scored some runs, but it just was not pleasant for Ron Gardenhire or any of their fans to watch. And now tonight, one day later, and they've done a little bit of everything right. A lot of everything. Defense, you know, Diamond's line isn't going to look the best with 5 earned runs allowed, but 3 of those on one swing. And the defense has been great, and obviously you've got 15 hits and 14 runs.
Well, they've done just about everything right. There's been, with the exception of the ball that fell between Willingham and Span, it's been a very crisply played game by the Twins in all phases. That kind of get the taste out of their mouths from the weekend.
1-2 to Pierce, then Davis and Ben Amin. Two and two. Came inside and something that almost hit him. He got a swing and a miss, 1 down.
Boy, this ball has great movement on it. He started on the inside corner. The ball just kept running in hard, tied him up.
Almost hit him in the belt.
Hitters will always tell you that it's movement more than speed that bothers them.
Fox Tracks brought to you by Carrier. 1 down. Davis has struck out 3 times in 3 plate appearances against Scott Diamond. And he takes ball 1.
Davis, another example against Scott Diamond of what you were talking about earlier, Dick, that a left-handed hitter that Scott Diamond made look really, really sick. Davis was coming into the game, I think, was hitting over 300 against left-handers. Yeah. Pretty good numbers against most left-handers, but couldn't figure out Scott Diamond at all.
Bouncer to the right side. Easy play for Morneau, 2 down. Get a behind-the-scenes tour at this ballpark. Visit twinsbaseball.com or call 800-33-TWINS to check out all the different types of tours that are available and the daily schedule. Private tours are available too. Go to twinsbaseball.com or call 800-33-TWINS and get all the details on how to book your Target Field tour. There are still nooks and crannies here that I haven't seen, and I've been here, 200 days so far, at least. Strike 1.
It's a beautiful, beautiful place. I never get tired of looking at all of the vistas from wherever you want to be in the ballpark. They're all just beautiful.
You know, I think we've already seen a pattern of outstanding maintenance here. I remember about a month ago there were a lot of moths around, and then I mean it was distracting to watch on TV. Moths everywhere. They were all over the building. And then we left on a road trip. We came back and the moth problem was gone that quickly. 1-2. Larry, that's Al.
That's Alex, yep.
He's in charge of the flowers. He's got more repair work to do out there after Morneau's home.
That's why that sour look on his face. He saw that guy ripping up his flowers. I feel the same way. Someone did that to my flowers.
Fouled back.
Alex is a wonderful, wonderful guy and a great grounds crew member. He's been with the grounds crew ever since my days.
To the Metrodome, right?
Yep. Terrific man.
Now, he told me too when we had the issue when the Phillies were here as to what type of flowers those are, and I'm not a flower expert. I couldn't tell you. Geraniums?
Well, I haven't looked closely enough at them. I don't know.
But as the weather changes, they have to change the flowers out there, because certain flowers weather the weather differently. Geraniums, I'm told, for sure.
Well, geraniums bloom a long time, and they like the heat, so that's, imagine you're right, Dick. That's why they have to do that.
Swing and a foul tip. Swarzak gets through the 8th inning in 1-2-3 fashion.
The 8th inning, looking to add to their 14 runs tonight. And coming up in our post-game show, Twins Live, presented by CenturyLink, we will look at the hit parade by Minnesota. 14 runs on 15 hits. Plus, we'll hear from Ron Gardenhire, who should be very satisfied with the Twins' offense here tonight. And our instructional on the field has to do with getting the ball up in the air, which has been carrying very well at Target Field. Ron Cooper talked about it, especially in Joe Mauer and Justin Morneau's at bats tonight, the way they've been hitting the ball out in front of the plate, getting it elevated, and essentially watching it fly. We try to bring our experts on the field every night after a home game for the Twins, and we'll do it tonight with Ron Cooper and Roy Smalley, and Anthony will be there too, guys.
He's in a separate category than baseball expert. Jim Johnson coming out of the Baltimore bullpen to pitch to the Twins in the 8th inning. One of the reasons the Orioles have been above 500 is because Johnson's done such a good job as their closer.
You bet. He's been terrific. I actually am going to make sure that Anthony understands that he's in a different category.
Okay. Justin Morneau with a 3-hit game, a pair of doubles and a single. The doubles have gone to the hits have. They've gone to 3 different parts of the field. The first double down the left field line. The single pulled to right, and the second double to deep right center. And now 3-0. Morneau, Plouffe, and Domet scheduled to hit here in the Twins' 8th. Three and one.
Justin taking all the way there in 3-0, getting a low fastball. That's what he wants right here, 3-1. That same pitch.
Snapped his bat, backhanded by Betamit. Juggles it. Morneau will reach. We'll wait for the official scorer's ruling. They give him a hit, so it's a 4-hit night. Take a look at the first 3 hits and where the pitches were delivered.
Yeah, great at bats, all of them. This one up and out over the plate with 2 strikes. He goes with it to left field. Then he gets one to his liking down and in, wraps it to right. And then the last one is outside, but he's able to get around the ball. Oh, there's the last one that he hit off the end of the bat, and was able to get a kind of a gift 4th hit. That's great to see. Justin with 4 knocks tonight. The first 3 hit really, really well. The last one perfectly placed.
2-0. The Orioles were in 2nd place. They'll still be in 2nd place even if they lose here tonight. But they'll be 9 games behind the Yankees, who won today. They beat Toronto 6-3. Tampa Bay lost. And again, it's remarkable to look at the American League standings. Swing and a miss on a pitch down and away. And fans might have been a little tired of us, and Ron Gardenhire said it too. You know, the challenge for the Twins is to get back to 500. Well, all the teams, all the other teams in the American League East consider themselves in the hunt, in the playoff race. And they're all, well, Baltimore was 4 games above the 500 mark. Toronto 1 game above 500. They consider themselves contenders. So the challenge was to get there. It's a drive to right center field. And Markakis isn't going to get it. Plouffe has a hit. Morneau going to 3rd. Plouffe has a double. And the Twins are threatening to score some more here in the 8th.
Good swing by Trevor Plouffe. I really like this development with Trevor. There's 2 strikes, ball on the outside part of the plate. Use the other part of the field. He's hit so many home runs to left field. That's where he wants to hit the ball. But to become a really accomplished hitter at the next step, taking the next step, those are the kind of hits he's going to need to learn how to get as well. That is a really good at bat right there against a good pitcher. And a really tough pitch.
Here's Domet, chance to drive in a couple of runs here. Drove in one with a fly ball his last time up. Way out in front, strike 1.
I've talked so much about how the ball jumps off Trevor Plouffe's bat, and we've seen most of that evidence to left field of home runs that he's hit. But right there, that ball one hopped or got over the right fielder's head, almost one hopped the wall. And to right center, to not his real power field. Another great example of the life in Trevor's bat. And if he can learn to use the whole field and pick his spots to hit the ball to left, he's going to become a real good hitter, because you can't teach the ball jumping off a guy's bat like that. Either you have that or you don't.
We talked about that with Mark Reynolds. I mean, Reynolds very rough defensively, a lot of strikeouts, but the ball jumped off his bat. That's why he's stuck around as long as he has. And you have to believe now, Roy, don't you, that it was that factor, and maybe that factor alone, that kept Plouffe in the Twins organization.
There's no question.
There was no other reason to bring him with the club this year. He was out of options, but he didn't excel defensively. And the field staff, pitching batting practice to him, the general managers, plural, is a chopper to first, another run will score. And Domet's retired. But the front office staff, watching Trevor Plouffe develop in the minor leagues, saw that and thought, we just can't cut our ties with him on the basis of someday it might click for him.
That's absolutely right. I just think you're absolutely right about that. You can't teach the ball jumping off a guy's bat like it does Trevor's, and they just couldn't afford to give up on the fact that he might harness it sometime. And they've been really rewarded this year, because he's made huge strides, obviously. What a great surprise that's been.
Twins up by 10 now. Plouffe at 3rd, 1 away. Dozier at the plate, and the infield drawn in. One and one. Taylor Teagarden just activated a few days ago. Ryan Flaherty. And that brushed Dozier. He'll go to first. Chavez in center field. So Jamie Carroll will come up with runners at first and third and one down. Tough innings for a closer to pitch. Literally a mop-up inning. And the first two batters get hit. You get a ground ball that scores a run. It's an earned run against you. Now a hit batter. Infield back now at double play depth. Ball one to Carroll.
We've seen it so many times, haven't we? The closers and A setup guys, they just don't have the same adrenaline when it's not a tough situation.
And now another run will score. Carroll with an RBI single. And Markakis inexplicably firing the ball all the way to Betemit up the third baseline, and that allows Carroll to go to second. So Dozier trying to advance first to third on the single, and Markakis airmails the throw.
Good at bat, kind of a classic Jamie Carroll inside out. Poke the ball to right field, drive in the run. Markakis, a good outfield with a great arm, just gets, I think, a little frustrated and wants to end the inning. And he knows that that's a bad play. You can't let the batter runner go to second base because you've missed the cutoff man on the throw.
Well, during the Carroll at bat, Buck Showalter had the infield at double play depth. Can't do that now, so the infield playing back for Span. Strike at the knees. Span with a couple of hits, a walk. He's driven in 3, scored once. Made 2 nice catches in the outfield. Nice foul. Two strikes to Span. Good night for Justin Morneau. A 4-hit night. Great to see. Inside 1-2. Seattle beat Kansas City 9-4. The Twins' first objective now is to get out of the basement in the division. They started the night 2.5 games behind Kansas City. Royals got another horrible start by Jonathan Sanchez tonight. 7 earned runs in less than 2 innings. 2-2. At home to a Seattle club that's really struggling to score runs this year.
Sanchez, another great example of the opposite of Scott Diamond. He goes about his business totally opposite, and is the worst for it. Struggles with the strike zone, walks people. Can't consistently throw any pitch over, much less more than one, and yet has great stuff.
And seemingly, at least when we saw him, taking forever between pitches. Diamond, as we said before, he does so much right. He throws strikes with great command of his arsenal of pitches, but he holds runners well. His pace out there is rapid.
Yeah, we could use a little of that pace right now.
3-2 to Span with Revere on deck. That hops over the glove of Reynolds, and 2 more runs are going to score. Span digs for second. And her 4 earned runs on the board against the Baltimore closer, Jim Johnson. And for Span, he's driven in 5. He only had 24 runs batted in on the year. And Buck Showalter is going to make a pitching change. And the Twins have scored 18 runs tonight. And the Twins have cut through just about everybody in the Baltimore bullpen.
Telecast is presented by authority of the Minnesota Twins and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Minnesota Twins, LLC.
Revere will hit. And Matt Lindstrom comes in to pitch for the Orioles.
And basically it's a whole staff game today for manager Buck Showalter. Matt Lindstrom, the latest, trying to get 2 more outs.
And Revere gets another hit, his 4th of the night, and Span will score. And Revere's driven in 3 runs. And it's a 5-run 8th. 19 runs on the board, and the only starter not to have driven in a run is the team leader in runs batted in, Josh Willingham.
Ben Revere doesn't waste any time. He gets the ball down in the middle of the plate, right back up the middle. Textbook Ben Revere swing. Just hit the ball hard, spray it through the infield, spray it over the infield, and run like mad. Although 19-5, he's not going anywhere now unless someone puts the ball in play somewhere.
So beyond the 4 hits for Revere, when he was retired, he hit the ball on the ground, which is what the Twins and Ben Revere want him to do. So 4 hits and 2 groundouts, pretty much a perfect night for Revere. 6 plate appearances, which will get him closer to getting the number of plate appearances to qualify for the top 10 in hitting. Butera hitting for Mauer, who had gone 2 for 5, including his 6th home run of the year. $19 runs on 20 hits. 2-1. Orioles had beaten the Twins 7 straight times going back to last year, and in those 7 losses, the Twins had scored a total of 9 runs. And they break out with 19 here tonight.
The only problem with a game like this, in my mind, always, is if you say going into a 4-game series, if the Twins could score 28 runs, that'd be great. But that means they're going to score 3 more a game for the next 3, and the law of averages is going to catch up. A lot of smiles there. This has been a fun ball game. Everybody in the act. Everybody has had a real good night.
Lindstrom got his finger on it and slowed it down enough to start a double play. 1-6-3. Lindstrom check to see if his finger's okay. 3-yard span. Ben Revere, all the Twins enjoying tonight. We look at the game reset. Scott Diamond in position to pick up his 8th win of the year. Twins have scored in every inning but the 5th and the 7th.
They have crooked numbers. They have jagged numbers. They've got
straight numbers.
They've got everything. That's how you get 19 runs in the innings.
Well, Anthony Swarzak pitched a couple of innings effectively, and maybe the only thing that kept him from getting a chance at the 3-inning save is the fact that Matt Capps needs another inning here. The Twins wanted him to pitch Saturday. He did. He got an inning. They wanted to give him Sunday off. They gave him that. Wanted to get him back on the mound for an inning, and I suspect at some point in this series, and it might be tonight and tomorrow, it might be later, the Twins will try to run Matt Capps out there in back-to-back games. Whether he's a closer or not might be less important for the Twins than getting him out there in back-to-back games. Butera staying in the game behind the plate, and Darren Mastroianni out in left. Capps been bothered by a sore shoulder. When he pitched here the other night, got his fastball up to 91 miles per hour. And there it is, 91. Before his shoulder issues, he got it up to 94, 95. And when I talked to Matt the other day, he's not concerned about the velocity. He wanted to get out there and throw. He is convinced, confident, that the velocity will come back on his fastball with every outing.
And I think that's right. A couple of things happen when you have as much time off as he's had. First of all, the injured muscle or whatever that was injured in his shoulder has to heal, and as it heals, both it and the muscles around tighten up a little bit, and you need to be able to stretch it out.
Driven to the gap in left center, and Tollison will get an extra base hit. Lead off double on something that was 85 miles per hour.
You can't come out and start throwing 94, 95 with muscles that they have tightened up from lack of use for a while. So it'll take him a little bit, but you're right. That's that little chain. That's the splitter he's working on. Left it up a little bit in the zone.
So Tollison at second, and Markakis will hit. Capps told me that normally coming out of spring training, his fastball only tops out at 91. We saw that too with Joe Nathan. When you're just starting the season, there's a fly ball to center field, and Span literally doesn't have to move. One down. Capps says typically when spring training would the regular season would start out as spring training, his fastball would be 91, and then as the weeks wore on, he'd get another 3-4 miles per hour.
Well, he's going through a little mini spring training again right now, recovering from the injury that he had. There's no question about that. So I would expect the same kind of progression.
Strike one. Andy Chavez hitting in the number 2 spot.
I think the main thing Matt will be working on right now is location. He wants to be able to come in throwing low strikes, which is where he's real good. That's why you saw a little bit of post-motion disgust there from when that ball got up and away. That was not the mechanics he wanted. That's it right there.
91. 1-2.
So he'll be looking to throw fastballs at 91 down in the zone. Be looking to try to get that split finger pitch over and down in the zone. That's the next 2 or 3 times he pitches. I think it'll be working mostly on location. Let the muscles stretch back out again.
driven to deep right field. Got up to 92 miles per hour, but it left the ballpark. And Chavez with a home run. And scores Tollison. Put 2 more on the board for the Orioles. 19-7.
Well, just a fastball up in the zone. Andy Chavez, pretty good left-handed hitter against right-handed pitching. And the ball is carrying very well in the ballpark here at Target Field in this hot weather, that's for sure.
Second Baltimore home run. And strike one. Ryan Flaherty, a Rule 5 player, getting some sparse duty for the Orioles. Flaherty with 95 at bats on the season. And Katz puts him away, out number 2.
Good location on this pitch. This is more where Matt wants to throw the ball. Just off the plate, just off the corner. Good pitch with 2 strikes.
Now Taylor Teagarden, who was just activated, made his 2012 debut the other day, a memorable one, not in his first at bat, but in the 13th inning, his second at bat. He had a game-winning walk-off home run against the Detroit Tigers. Joaquin Benoit. Two 2-0. Mark Reynolds on deck. Another 92 mile per hour fastball. On the ground to Dozier. A run for the Twins. Matt Capps finishes off a 19-7 bludgeoning of the Baltimore Orioles. Anthony LaPanta had started early. The Twins end a 5-game losing streak this year and a 7-gamer to the Baltimore Orioles.
Amazingly,